Dexter Lawrence, you are a Cincinnati Bengal. Breaking news, the New York Giants have traded all-pro defensive tackle to the Cincinnati Bengals, and we are reacting to it here on New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, and we are presented by Prize Picks. We'll tell you more about Prize Picks coming up later on today's show, but I want to hear everybody's one-word reaction to the trade. I think it's pretty funny. I think right away in a video I did today, I said the New York Giants, I don't think would get the number 10 overall pick, a top 10 pick in the draft. And little did I know that they were already offered the number 10 overall pick by the Cincinnati Bengals. So, AC, let's get a weigh in on screen. What is your one-word reaction to the New York Giants trading for Dexter Lawrence? We've got awesome, happy, mad, good, nice, Super Bowl, bang, thanks, great, righteous, great, downs, and styles, all in one word. I like that. Great, hype, happy, righteous, mid, wow, Bengals, adios for Mr. Cha in the chat. Oh, we got Malik Neighbors says love and downs. Loving basketball, loving downs, loving football, loving Buckeyes is what they're saying. See ya, bye, sad, not, fuego, OBJ, potential, competent, Marshall Green, I love you, yay, equal, tattoo, competent. A lot of one-word reaction, 6-7 from a couple of people as well. Marshall, give me an F. Trae Young. We're not even worried about that guy anymore. That was never even a rivalry. Good to be up 1-0 though. 15 more wins to go for the New York Knicks. Yo-Yo says Marsh, cap space, F out of here. Meh, win, dial. Who do y'all think won the trade? NYG for the Giants, CIN for the Cincinnati Bengals. Who won this trade? NYG or CIN? I'm curious. Got some NYGs coming in. A lot of NYGs coming in. Cincinnati from the contractor. I would love to know the contractor. Why do you think the Bengals won this trade? So I think kind of the expectation is because he don't know ball. Boston. Trippy Whip says Boston has won the trade. Even trade. Vasquez says that the Cowboys get... chat is moving so fast. You guys are awesome. I appreciate everybody being here. Sorry for being a little bit late. We were live on the Knicks channel midway through the fourth quarter when the news broke. Had to finish that game and then decided to just film a video on demand that we could put out on the channel prior to going live. Coming up on today's show, we're going to do a we'll do a 4-round mock draft. We'll do a 4-round mock draft coming up on today's show, and then I'll list my top 10 players in this class that I want to be a New York Giant. None of them, that list does not include Fernando Mendoza, which means potentially 2 of those players could be Giants. So we got a couple of videos planned for all the real ones coming up on today's show. Appreciate everybody for being here. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon. We got 1,100 people in the chat. Really, really would appreciate it. We have 1,100 people watching, only 146 likes. Those are rookie numbers. So please, please, please smack that thumbs up icon. Would really, really appreciate it. This is the first time a player has been traded without any additional compensation for a haul that includes a top 10 pick in that year's NFL draft since the Vikings traded Randy Moss to the Raiders in 2005 in exchange for a haul that included the 7th overall pick. So a lot to discuss. I'll give you my grade for this trade coming up momentarily. We will get all of the super chats up on screen. Really, really do appreciate you. Over 1,200 people watching. Please hit that thumbs up icon. It is free and it is easy. While everyone is taking 5 seconds to like the video by just clicking the thumbs up icon, I got to tell you about our presenting sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks. They are a brand new presenting sponsor of Chat Sports. An awesome, awesome, awesome moment for us, and it's all because of y'all. Get hooked up with Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the game. Download the app, create an account, use that promo code HMA, and you will get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app, create an account, use that promo code HMA, play $5, get $50 instantly. Playoff basketball is here, and I cashed on my lineup that I had rolling for the Knicks versus Hawks Game 1 action. I took the more on Jalen Johnson points, more on Josh Hart rebounds, and more on OG and OB threes. Check, check, check. I turned $25 into $67.50. You can also find me on Prize Picks. Go to their social feed feature, type in @MarshallGreen_. You can follow me, and you can fade or you can tail my picks. Just do it at Prize Picks. Prize Picks. Run your game. Pick more. Pick less. Play Prize Picks. Download the app. Create an account. Use that promo code HMA. Play $5. Get $50 instantly. Shout out to Prize Picks. We appreciate you. All right. So this is what the deal is. There's also, I thought, a kind of weird wording when the news of this deal initially broke, because the way that the tweets were worded was that maybe the New York Giants were getting more in a trade back for Dexter Lawrence, or maybe they were having to give something up to get that #1 or that first-round pick that comes from the Cincinnati Bengals. But it is officially official. The New York Giants have traded Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals for the #10 overall pick. It's a big trade and a little bit of a shocking move. I think a lot of people thought when Dexter Lawrence demanded a trade, it was all right, we'll just get into a contract negotiation and we will try to, find a common ground and a middle ground between the Giants and Dexter Lawrence. And in classic Giants nature, Paul Schwartz being told by the Giants that they offered him multiple deals, and Dexter Lawrence did not want to make it happen. Nobody likes to piss on players more than the New York Giants when they walk out the door. They do it to coaches. They do it to players. They do it to front office people as well, the good old classy New York Giants. I will say this, though. I give this a strong B+, A- of a grade. It did not sound like the New York Giants were going to be able to get a bunch in return for a Dexter Lawrence trade. There were reports that they hadn't received a trade call from a team in 5 days, as recent as 2 days ago. Then there was a report last night that came out from Paul Schwartz where he talked about the two sides of Lawrence and the Giants were back working together in in a contract negotiation to try to get a deal done, and that they would only trade him if they got a top 10 pick plus something else. Well, looks like they settle on getting a top 10 pick from the Cincinnati Bengals. Cha says B-. You're silly, Marsh. We're so far apart. B- and B+. Look, I'll let Andrew Connell share his thoughts here, but and the calendar moments that we're in, less than 5 days away from the NFL draft, I don't think you were getting any better off from the number 10 overall pick, and I prefer the number 10 overall pick compared to like number 24 from Chicago and 88 from Chicago. Give me the best chance to land a superstar, and you got the opportunity to do that with the number 10 pick. And heck, maybe you trade down from 5 to 8, and then you had another third round pick, and you've got a bunch of picks at your disposal now.
That's kind of my point. There's a couple different layers to this as well. Like, you look at other guys who are premier defensive players that get traded, they get traded for multiple firsts, but those are usually like contending teams that acquire those players. And like, look at the Micah Parsons trade. That turned into the 20th overall pick this year and then a first-round pick next year. Like, those are later first-round picks. You're getting the certainty of knowing where you're picking in the draft, 10th overall. Dex is getting probably a big contract from
Jordan
Cincinnati
Schultz tweeting out the Bengals are expected to hammer out a significant long-term deal with Dexter Lawrence once he passes his physical.
And then on top of that, you're then going to bring in a cheap, hopefully contributor, premier player if you're picking inside the top 10, or you trade back for more capital and get more picks. I think this is a win, especially because all these details were leaking to the media, and people. It was obvious that he did not want to return to the Giants. Like you said, I don't know if they were getting a better. So what, you hold out and then you get 2 firsts from a team? Like, what's the chance that any of those end up being a top 10 pick? Probably not.
Yeah, and now you kind of have the opportunity to not only reshape this roster, AC, but set the foundation of what John Harbaugh wants the New York Giants to look like. I mean, has there ever been a GM in Joe Shane, who is entering his 5th draft, had 2 first-round picks inside the top 10 in 2 of his 5 NFL drafts?
We got our guy Trace Moustakis in the chat, and it looks like
Moose!
Some people are
Moose, they're coming for you. Don't worry. They all come for me when I say Jeremiah Love, and I can't wait until he's the pick, and I can just kind of say, ooh, ooh, suck it. Because I'll tell you this much. Everything I'm hearing is if he's on the board at 5, he's a Giant. We'll see, though.
Moose covers 2 teams, and he has 0 first-round pick. You cover 1 team, and you have 2 first-round picks.
Everybody loves to hate on the Jeremiah Love pick. You guys will all be screaming like little middle school girls once he busts that first 65-yard touchdown. I always wanted Jeremiah Love. They're going to go Love. They're going to go Maui Noah. They're going to go Love. They're going to go Vega. I personally think that Sonny Styles is still in conversation, but I think it's Styles or Love at 5, and I think Styles could wind up going number 4 to the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, we'll see. This gives the Giants options if they to really get whatever they want. They can kind of maneuver up and down the board as well if they did really want to, and they either had a guy they fell in love with that they didn't think was going to make it to 5. They could trade back. They could get 2 guys in the top 10. To me, the Harbaugh move is probably to just let the board fall how it's going to fall, take their best player at both spots, and probably end up with 2 of the better players in the draft with both top 10 picks.
Connor Hughes tweeting out, covers the Giants for SNY, talking to several coaches around the NFL right now. They are stunned the Giants got what they did for Dexter Lawrence. They all agree, very good player, but not worth the number 10 overall pick. Age, injury, and concerns regarding his conditioning pointed out. Also that you need to limit the number of snaps he plays to maximize his production. Really just a one-position player. Needless to say, great return for the New York Giants. Yeah, I'm a B+ to an A- on this deal. I'm not sure how you could have got more. I think the only way you could have got more is if you traded him at the trade deadline last year. But then who's to say that you would have even got the number 10 overall pick in that trade? You probably just would have got a first plus something.
Yeah, and you want to think about it like this. Giants only got the 10th overall pick. What would they get if they tried to trade back from 10 to in the mid-20s? They'd get a first and maybe another first, or maybe a first and a second, or a first and multiple thirds. Like, you can look at it as that way. The 10th pick is worth multiple picks on its own. So,
yeah, we got a lot planned for today's show. We'll do a live mock draft. We'll have AC run the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator. And then I'm going to tell you the top 10 players that I want the New York Giants to draft with their 2 first-round selections. A lot of super chats have rolled in. Every single super chat that comes in, we will show it on the channel. And let's start it off with my guy, KP.
We got a 3-point goal. Kyle Purpura. Bang!
Give me some KPs in the comment section. He says, I want Styles and Caleb Downs. That's definitely a possibility, man. I tweeted out, and I told Andrew Connell this, and I don't know if he agrees or disagrees, but what I would like to see the number 5 pick and the number 10 pick be on the same side of the football. I know that in theory you want to just take the best 2 players available, but man, how cool would it be for your defense to get an infusion of Downs and Styles? How cool would it be for your offense if you take Jeremiah Love at 5 and one of the top offensive linemen at 10? Maybe you take Sonny Styles at 5 and you take Mansour Delane at 10. Like, I'm all for spreading the wealth, but and, there's nothing wrong with doing that either. I think just my preference is let's try to beef up one side of the ball and give it as much blue-chip talent as possible. And if you're the Giants, if I was running the Giants, I would draft 2 offensive players. And, Marshall, but the defense. The defense doesn't matter if Jackson Dart's no good. And if Jackson Dart doesn't have help this year, we're going to have another year where we're hoping for Theo Johnson to be a big-time player, Gunnar Olszewski to be playing in the slot the last 3 weeks of the season. I want blue-chip players around Jackson Dart, and if he can look out wide and say, oh, shit, I got blue-chip left tackle Andrew Thomas. I've got blue-chip Jeremiah Love out there. I've got blue-chip Malik Neighbors out there. I've got blue-chip Vega Ioane at right guard. I got blue-chip right tackle Francis Mauigoa playing guard. Like, I want as many great players around Jackson Dart as possible, and I continue to say it, and I'm not moving off it, so quit asking. I'm going for the offseason of building around Jackson Dart, because if you don't, nothing matters. And if Jackson Dart's bad next year, 50% of this chat, Andrew Cottle will be saying, we need a new quarterback. That's the last thing you want to do, because if you need a good quarterback, you're going to miss the window on the young, cheap defensive talent that you have. I'm going all offense.
Yeah, that would be a step backward. I think I agree with your point about being on both sides of the ball.
Giants aren't winning the championship next year, JDS. If they do, fuck yeah, we'll party, but fast way to win a championship if Jackson Dart is good. If
Kyle's scenario comes true and it's Styles and Downs, okay. If it's Love and Mauigoa or Love and Vega like we did in our mock draft, Chat Sports mock draft, where we traded Dexter Lawrence, and we traded to the 18th pick. We got Vega Ioane and Jeremiah Love at 5. The thing we said after that was you come out of that with a clear identity. So whether that's you're going to build up the defense or you're going to build up the offense, using both picks on the same side of the ball establishes that identity. It gives John Harbaugh a clear direction with his roster and sets the tone for his first season of this is how we're going to play. We're going to be a smash-mouth defense team, and we're going to piece together on offense, and we're going to expect Jackson Dart to do it, or we're going to elevate Jackson Dart, make him a superstar, and defense should be good enough with all the talent that's already been invested in there. Despite you losing Dexter Lawrence, you still probably get a good defensive player at number 37 overall. So.
You had the second most expensive defense in the National Football League 2 hours ago. All I was told on defense by Joe Shane is we just need better coaching. Show me. I'd love to win the Super Bowl next year, and I actually think it's easier to win the Super Bowl if your offense gets better than your defense. But I want the best players around Jackson Dart, and you have a chance right here to draft, in my opinion, the best player in the class in Jeremiah Love and the best offensive lineman in the class at number 10. I'd also be popping champagne if you walk out of this draft with Styles and Downs. I just prefer that you build on offense because nothing matters if Jackson Dart is no good, and I believe you should be doing everything possible to make sure there is no dip in production in year 2, because if there is, doesn't matter how good your defense is.
And if you do build the offense and they are just an elite group led by Dart, led by Neighbors, led by Scat, led by Love, led by an offensive line that was solid and can be great next year, Isaiah Likely and Theo Johnson, your defense is going to be playing from a position of strength. If you're constantly scoring points and grabbing leads, your defense is going to know that they are playing with a lead. They're allowed to play a little more free, a little more loose. The other team is going to be forced to become one-dimensional passing the ball. So if you do decide to build the offense, that's how you kind of help your defense while also building your offense at the same time. So. Shout out to Kyle P.
Kyle, you're the man, brother. Yeah, Styles and Downs would be fucking awesome. It'd be awesome. Big Trez, what up, man? Appreciate the $5 super chat. Styles at 5. Downs, Delane, Ioane at 10. Defensive lineman, Hunter at 37. Zachariah Branch at 105. Thaddeus Dixon at 145. Landon Robinson, 186 draft grade and signed reader post May 1. Yeah, that'd be pretty damn good. That'd be pretty damn good. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. And I see Trace in the chat, Moose, like, shoot, what if you walk Addy? And I know we all just both agree we would like it all on one side. But shit, you walk out with Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs, and you walk out with the best 2 football players in the class. That's pretty damn exciting as well.
Like it's a further extension of the steak lobster like scenario. You go both defense, you go both offense. You get one guy on each side of the ball. I trust John Harbaugh. He knows what kind of opportunity he has in front of him to kind of set the foundation for his Giants tenure with these picks. These are building block level picks, and they're sending the message of what the kind of players he wants to add to this football team. He's not going to mess up this opportunity.
I feel like I said it a million times during the first draft that I covered here, which was 2022. You can't mess up 5 and 7. And the Giants ultimately, they did mess it up. Kayvon Thibodeau has been relatively a bust for the number 5 overall pick. So much so they haven't even signed him into a contract extension, and they drafted his replacement last year, and they had to trade for a $150 million player. So, I like Kayvon. I appreciate what he's done. He's not lived up to the bill of number 5 overall pick, and in theory, he's been a bust because the Giants have had to throw 2 major darts at the same position he plays, and Evan Neal, we all know, has been a bust. You can't have that again. You can't have one good pick in Thibodeau and a bust in Neal. You need both these players to be players that are part of your team for the next 8 years and sign second contracts. That's what you need. That's the most important thing now at 5 and 10. Is number 10 ever going to be as good as Dexter Lawrence? You know what? Maybe not. But is he going to be a part of this team for the next 10 years? Is he going to want to be here? Is he going to be a face of the organization? Is he going to show up to camp? Is he going to be in shape? Is he not going to quit on his teammates and not demand a new money deal after 1 year of his contract extension? Look, I love Dexter Lawrence, but he played himself into a villain role. Asking for a new contract after the first year of your new 4-year deal is an absolute joke. And then to double down on that, ask for a new contract after you had the worst season of your NFL career is even bigger of a joke after you tanked the season away, milked an elbow injury, didn't show up to training camp, fat, lazy, and out of shape. It was time to go, and I thought the Giants squeezed the most juice out of him that they could in a trade back. That's how I feel. Let's go, Giants. Appreciate you coming in as well. We'll get to you in a second. We got a 3-point goal. Seth Gross. Bang! Seth Gross. $50 super chat.
Gross.
Give me some SGs in the comments section. I'm out with the pride tonight, but I'm sending love to the chat. Dex has found himself in the abyss called Cincinnati. Well done, sir. We have the 5th and 10th. Are you kidding me? Let's rock this draft. Let's effing go, Giants. Yeah. I mean, heck. A lot of different possibilities. I feel like a 16-year-old kid walking down the candy aisle right now, and I'm like, oh, shit, I can get that and that. I got $10 in my pocket. I can get all this for $10.
Buy one, get one. A little buy one, get one action.
You need 5, 10, and 37 to be day one impact players. 5, 10, 37, day one impact players. That's how you turn a franchise around. That's how you put building blocks on the ground. And that's how you build this team out in the John Harbaugh way. I think the kids once who are pretty smart said we're playing Harbaugh ball at 1925 Giants Drive. Sorry you didn't want to be a part of it, Dexter Lawrence. Have fun living in Cincinnati. Maybe you can go to the Chat Sports Studios up there. Let's go Giants. $2 super chat. What up, man? Hope you like Skyline Chili. Trade up for Peter Woods. Next Aaron Donald. Let's pump the brakes on the next Aaron Donald. I think it's always a little bit rich to say that someone is the next best player on the defensive side of the ball since Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
But I like Peter Woods. And what if the Giants found a way to get Jeremiah Love, Vega Ioane, and Peter Woods? Anybody that could do a mock draft with 31 other humans and do that probably knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
None of your business. $10 super chat. What's up, man? I feel like Kayvon should have been traded before Dex, but I'll take another top 10 pick. I don't really think there's any correlation between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this means they're more likely to re-sign Kayvon because they just play different positions. You're not going to be able to get Kayvon on the field if Burns and Carter are healthy and playing to the level they want to, as much as he's going to be with the contract that would be required to invest in him. Hell, Will Anderson just got $50 million a year, and Kayvon Thibodeau is far from the player Will Anderson is, but you think he's not going to get 20-something million on the open market when Will Anderson just got $50 million a year?
Who's getting 20 mil?
Kayvon.
I don't think so.
Okay. He's going to get more money than the Giants are willing to invest in him. And
If the team's willing to give him $20 million, don't you think the team would have offered a third-round pick by now? Because the Giants are trading him if they get a third-round pick.
I guess I just think when the top end guys are getting 50, someone will take Kayvon for like a medium level below half that contract.
Yeah, I just disagree. I could be wrong. Kayvon Thibodeau has 8 sacks in the last 2 years, and he's been hurt 3 times in his NFL career. If the Giants, I kind of just look at it like this. If the Giants felt they had a $20 million edge rusher, why would they draft Abdul Carter number 3? I don't know. I don't think Kayvon Thibodeau is signing a 4-year, $80 million deal. And now, if he goes and plays good this year, maybe. But if Kayvon Thibodeau was cut tomorrow, I think he's signing like a 3 for 50, 3 for 45, 3 for 40. I don't think he's getting $20 million a year. $20 million a year is also, I bet, still. Let's look at this. Highest paid edge rushers in the NFL. Edge rushers. $20 million would make him in the same spot. This is like Nick Benito makes $26 million. Nick Benito is a hell of a much better player than Kayvon Thibodeau. Odafe Owe just got $24 million from the Commanders. I don't know. We'll see. I wouldn't pay Kayvon Thibodeau $20 million at all.
Yeah, I guess the point is that it just didn't what I was trying to say is that it didn't correlate. The fact they didn't pay Dex doesn't mean they're now going to pay Kayvon.
Yeah, why would they? Kayvon Thibodeau is the 3rd best edge rusher on the Giants. Yeah, there's like we said, I don't think there's any correlation there. Dexter Lawrence demanded a trade and wanted new money because of it. Kayvon Thibodeau has no power. Like, you think Kayvon Thibodeau demanded a new contract right now? The Giants are going to give him one? The Giants got a 3rd-round pick for Kayvon Thibodeau on draft day. He's gone. He's gone. I can promise you that. And I can tell you no one's offered a 3rd-round pick either. No one in the NFL thinks Kayvon Thibodeau is that good. Mandalorian, number 9. What's up, bro? Appreciate the $5 super chat. We were getting more than... No, we're not. It's the 10th pick. No. It's just the 10th pick. It's Dexter Lawrence for the 10th pick straight up. That's it. That's it. Thunder. What up, Brody? The New York Giants got rid of a guy that didn't want to be here. Coach said we're going to make sure we only have guys that want to be here. Right, Joe? Yeah. He said that at the introductory press conference, and he just stood 10 toes on it. Like, you don't want to be here. You're not going to be a part of this organization. You're not going to be a part of this organization. And he's not. He is not. He's not. Drew, what up, man? Was hoping the 3rd included. Yeah. I mean, look, you got the number 10 overall pick. Like, would you rather have 18 and 97 or would you rather have number 10? I'd rather have number 10.
Yeah, I think if you offered the Vikings 10 for 18 and 97, I think they would do it. So I think 10 is a better spot to be.
Yep, you get a top 10 pick.
Shout out to Drew.
Shout out to you, Drew. The real officer, 99. Marsh, I get he didn't want to be here, but a 10th overall pick seems a little light. It's the first time a player has been traded that's a non-quarterback for a top 10 pick since Randy Moss in 2007. So it's the second biggest trade. Or it's the biggest trade since 2008 for a non-quarterback. Like, top-end capital-wise.
I think, like, your point about, draft picks being more valued as you get closer to the draft is true, but it's also, like, more of value to the receiving team because you know where that pick's ending up. Like, the Giants know they're at 10. You think if they traded for the Bengals' first-round pick before the season that they would have thought they were getting a top 10 pick? Probably not.
Yeah, like, would you rather have the 25th pick and the 60th pick or the 10th pick? Personally, I'm quality over quantity when it comes to draft picks. That's just personally how I look at it. Would you rather have Micah Parsons at 11 or Kadarius Toney at 20 and Evan Neal at 7? right?
Yeah.
Right? Bear, what's up, bro? What's your best case scenario? For me, it would be drafting Jeremiah Love and the best offensive lineman at number 10. But shoot, right behind that, like, if that's my dream and Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs is right there, that'd be cool. You get Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs. How cool would that be? Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to go. Who's on the board at 5? I personally don't think Sonny Styles is getting there to 5. I think the Cardinals could take him at 3, and I think Robert Saleh could be looking for the next Fred Warner of his defense. So, yeah, I think just if you mess this one up, Joe Shane, just hang it up, man. Just hang it up. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. Kyle P. back. We got a 3-point goal. Kyle Purpura. Bang! Kyle Purpura. What up, Brody? Thank you for the $50 super chat. Second one of the day. Salute to you, my man. MVP of the chat. Give me some KPs down below. What about signing Reader? Yeah, I tweeted it out. Like, go sign DJ Reader and go sign Shelby Harris. Now, does Shelby Harris and DJ Reader equal Dexter Lawrence? No. But what about you pick a defensive tackle at 37, you sign Reader, you sign Harris, and you try to play it by the numbers. No one is ever going to replace Dexter Lawrence. We know that. But he didn't leave the 2025 cleats he left behind aren't too big to fill. 2024 cleats are huge. 2023 cleats are huge. 2022 cleats are huge. Joe Shane Guy here in 2022. Giants have allowed the most rushing yards in the NFL and the most rushing yards per carry in the NFL since he got here. It's not just Dexter Lawrence's fault. It's a lot of people's fault. But if you would have told me the day that Dexter Lawrence requested a trade that a team is offering the number 10 overall pick, I would say do it. I would say do it.
We actually tried to do that in our Chat Sports mock draft.
Yes, we did.
Bengals GM wasn't picking up the phone, so.
I would love to sign Reader, though, and Harris. I would sign both, and you have the money to do so as well. I'd also call up Calais Campbell and see what he wants to do. So that's where I'm at. AP 51. What's up, Brody? Is there a world where we get Styles and Downs? Yeah, absolutely a world where that could happen. I think it's more likely that you get Downs at 10 unless are the Cowboys trading up to 6 to steal Downs from you? I don't know. Like, who's picking 9? 9 would be the Chiefs. Are they taking Downs? I don't think so. Are the Saints taking 8 at Downs? Probably not. Are the Commanders taking Downs at 7? Absolutely could happen. At 6, are the Browns taking Downs? I don't think so. So if he gets past 7, then you're kind of seeing, are the Cowboys going to try and trade up and steal him from him? I don't see the Chiefs taking Caleb Downs at 9.
I think they're like a lot of people are saying they might go corner. They just got rid of they lost Jalen Watson and they traded Trent McDuffie as well, so they have a pretty big need at corner.
Yeah. What time do we have to do another Prize Picks read?
Within the next 10 to 12.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think there's absolutely a world you can get Styles and Downs. Keep your eyes on Jordan Tyson, though. We've heard a lot of smoke around Tyson. We had a video coming out on the channel tomorrow about Joe Shane going to the Arizona State Pro Day, Joe Shane flying out to the private Jordan Tyson workout. Joe Shane went out to dinner with Jordan Tyson as well. I read somewhere, I think it was Connor Hughes tweeted out that the Bengals actually offered the Giants this trade 2 weeks ago. And you got to wonder, does Jordan Tyson looking good at his workout, going to dinner with Joe Shane and all that, checking out, maybe say, all right, let's do the trade and let's hope we get Tyson at 10.
Yeah, a lot of the initial smoke, obviously, without knowing that this deal was going to go down, was maybe the Giants are really looking to trade down from number 5 overall and target Tyson in a trade back. And now they have the 10th overall pick, which is kind of more in line with his range, where his range is going to be. He wasn't expected to go 5 overall, so we'll see. The Giants, like we've said a couple times, they have options. They can really do whatever they want at this point. So shout out to you, AP.
Appreciate you, man. Moose, what's up, Brody? Marsh, it's Love and Downs, baby. Big Blue is all the way back. Look, man, you walk out of this draft with the best offensive player in the class and Jeremiah Love and the best defensive player in the class in Caleb Downs. Like, that'd be pretty awesome. That'd be pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, shit. You sell a lot of jerseys. Sell a lot of jerseys of those two, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I do think that those two are the best players in this football class. Are the best football players in this class. My big board right now would be Love, Downs, and Styles. I have put Downs in front of Styles at this point. I still think Styles is a really good football player, but I've got him behind Caleb Downs, and I think Jeremiah Love's the best. I got Caleb Downs at 2 right behind him, and then Styles at 3. That's kind of written in almost permanent ink for me at this point. That would be my top 3 for the Giants. But shoot, man, you walk out of this class with Sonny Styles and Vega Ioane as well. Sonny Styles and Francis Mauigoa. That'd be pretty awesome as well.
Shout out to you, Moose. Shout out to everyone. We are 8 likes away from 500 likes, 1,500 people in the building. If you are here having a good time and you want to support us, hit that thumbs up icon. We're going to be doing a live mock draft on the channel, as well as Marshall going through kind of his top 10 targets for the Giants in the first round. So stay tuned for those segments. But in the meantime, hit that thumbs up icon. We appreciate you guys.
Shout out to everybody in the building. I think I put on that list 10 logo, just swap 2 and 3. All right, how did you build it? You just do bios?
Our guy AP helped us out with that, so
Let's just take a look at that real quick. We got 1,500 people watching. Can you just flip 1 and 2?
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Or 2 and 3, Styles and Downs. Probably just copy, paste, and read only. But if you want to do it the other way, that's cool as well. All right, next super chat coming in from the Jotman. What up, Jotman? $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. Give me some big J's in the chat. It says, I'm conflicted as a Cowboy fan. Losing Dexter is great, but getting a top 10 pick is bad. There's no shot you guys double up on defense with that abysmal O-line and horrible wide receiver room. So this eliminates a defensive pick in Cincy. Well, yeah, since he doesn't have a first-round pick, we have it. But, yeah, this is awesome news for us. Sucks that you're a Cowboy fan, and we're probably going to take both players that you wanted at 10 at number 12 anyways. So, yeah, sucks to suck. Sucks to sucks, Cowboys. Suck it, Downey. No Downs or Styles for you unless you trade up. And then that would mean you essentially traded Micah Parsons for Styles or Downs, and that's real good work there by Jerry Jones. Keep putting salt on that McGriddle, buddy. Ziegenman, 32. What's up, bro? He gives it an A because it's a good trade for both teams. But F- because he was my favorite player. Ziegenman. Long time no see, brother. Yeah, I like Dexter Lawrence as well. I like Dexter Lawrence as well, but Dexter Lawrence didn't want to be a Giant. If Dexter Lawrence wanted to be a Giant, he would have been a Giant. It's been reported that the Giants offered him a $28.5 million average annual value would have gotten a deal done. And maybe the Giants didn't want to go that high. I'm not 100% sure on that, but look, Dexter Lawrence wanted to be here. Dexter Lawrence would be here. Dexter Lawrence was a bad teammate last year. Dexter Lawrence showed up to camp out of shape and fat and didn't want to practice and milked a elbow injury and pouted in the locker room after losses instead of being a leader. Go listen to how Dexter Lawrence spoke about losses last year and go listen to how Brian Burns spoke about losses last year. One of them's called pouting and moping, and one's called leadership. I like Dex. I appreciate everything he did, but if he wanted to be here, he'd be here, and he's not here because he didn't want to be here. Appreciate you, Ziegemann. You the man, Brody. The real officer. Is it Jeremiah Love? Is Jeremiah Love at play at 5? Yes. I think Jeremiah Love's number 1 on the Giants' big board. I do. And they might have Sonny Styles as 1. But I think 1 and 2 are Jeremiah Love and Sonny Styles. And it could be Styles then Love or Love then Styles. But I think the Giants' big board has Jeremiah Love in the top 2. And I've kind of been under the impression that if Love is there at 5, they're going to take him. That's who John Harbaugh wants. And I think John Harbaugh's making the pick at 5. And I think Joe Shane might feel more comfortable drafting Jeremiah Love at 5 now that he has the number 10 pick in his back pocket. To me, if I'm running the team and I'm making the pick, and if it is Jeremiah Love at 5, I'm getting a player at 10 that helps Jeremiah Love. I'm investing in my number 5 pick by taking an offensive lineman at 10, whether that be Vega Ioane, whether that be Francis Mauigoa. If you take Jeremiah Love at 5, you're investing in Jackson Dart. If you take an offensive lineman at 10, you're investing in Jackson Dart and Jeremiah Love. And that's just how I would go about it. But shit, if you want to take Sonny Styles at 5 and you take Caleb Downs at 10, let's ride. You want to take Jeremiah Love at 5 and Caleb Downs at 10? Let's do that as well. Like, I don't really see a bad way that this shakes out. I'm not even against taking Jordan Tyson at number 10. I'm not. I like Tyson. I didn't like him at 5, but at 10, I think it's worth it. We'll see. I'm sure we'll start to hear some more juice over the next couple of days as well. I think we will. Orlando, $10 super chat. Salute to you, man. We went from stressing not having a third-round pick to having 2 top 10 picks. We so back. Got to nail it. Got to nail 5, got to nail 10, got to nail 37. Those have to be starters. Day 1 starters. Have to. King of New York. King of New York. What can we get for Kayvon? I was told if they got offered a third-round pick, they would take it. I still think Kayvon Thibodeau could be traded on draft night. Not sure if they would move him for a 4th, but if they get offered a 3rd or... Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it. Kayvon's not going to be on the team next year this time. So, we'll see. Maybe he balls out, and then they are... Even if he balls out, I think it's less likely he's on the team because then he could get big money, and they're not paying big money to Abdul, Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau. We'll see, though. We'll see. I think, though, he's either traded or this is his last year on the Giants. I have a hard time believing he's on the Giants again this time next year. It's me. 5th, 10th, and 3rd for Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't know what do you know what he's asking?
5th, 10th, and 3rd, 1st, KT, Love and Downs, or Sonny. I'm not sure. You want to clarify in the comments what exactly you're asking here?
Yeah. I'm not sure what you mean by that, brother. I'm not sure what you mean by that. We'll continue to roll through the super chats that are coming in. We're also going to do a live 4-round mock draft on today's show, and then we'll go over my top 10 picks that I want the top 10 players in the draft I'd like to see the Giants target with the top 2 picks that they have. First, I got to tell you about our proud sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks. They are the presenting sponsor of Chat Sports. Download the Prize Picks app. It's the #1 sports fantasy, daily fantasy sports app in the game. When you create an account, use the promo code HMA. That's promo code HMA. And after you play your first $5 lineup, you're going to get $50 in lineups instantly. With playoff basketball finally here, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. All you got to do is pick more or pick less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. I cashed in on my 3+ player lineup for game 1 of Knicks versus Hawks. I took the more on points for Jalen Johnson, cash, more on rebounds for Josh Hart, cash, and more on three-pointers made for OG Anunoby, cash. I 2.7x'd my moolah, because it's all about the moolah, and I put $25 on it to win $67.50. You can roll with my picks or fade my picks. Just do it on Prize Picks. And remember, use that promo code HMA. And when you play your first $5 lineup, you're going to get $50 in lineups instantly. Let's go. Shout out to Prize Picks. We really, really do appreciate them. I'll make sure that link is clickable down in the comments and the description of today's show.
So it looks like he said trade Kayvon for a third, and then with the 5th and the 10th, get Love and Downs or Sonny.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Down for that. Yeah, if the Giants can get a third for Kayvon Thibodeau, they're doing it in a heartbeat. Doing it in a heartbeat. In the beat of a heart.
Shout out to you. Boomer Sooner. Styles at 5, Downs or offensive line at 10. Let's do it. Yeah, I mean, I think either one of those guys would be good. If Styles makes it to 5, Downs is definitely a target at 10. O-line, whether it's Maui Noah or Ioane, or maybe there's another lineman they have high on their board that we haven't talked about yet. I'm sure now they've already been going to before they agreed to this trade, and I'm sure they will continue to, over the next week, play out all the various scenarios of how the board may fall, how the first 4 picks may go, how the whole top 10 is going to go, and kind of figure out what their rankings of groupings of players they would want to get. Just like we did in one of our prior videos, if you were subscribed, we did a target video of who you could pair with your first and second, but now we're doing it with 2 top 10 picks. So,
hell yeah. Styles at 5, Downs or a line at 10. Cool. No one has thrown out a scenario that I haven't liked so far. That's for sure.
What is a scenario? Do you think there exists one?
Only if those players suck that you pick.
Yeah.
What's up, Bike Life? Downs at 5, then get Mansour Delane with that number 10 pick. We need to stack defense. Caleb Banks could be a great addition to this team. Also 6'6", 330. Yeah, after we did that live mock draft, I went home and I watched some more defensive line tape, and Caleb Banks' ceiling is significantly higher than everybody else's. Like, it's not even close. But he's also got the biggest bust rate. Shout out to Vinny Pip on that. Like,
the
injuries, some inconsistent play, but the traits, the sheer ability he has, like, there's some plays where it's like, holy shit, this guy is freaky. And there are other plays where it's like, all right, what is he doing? And then he's got bad feet, and there's injury worries there. But if you believe in the medical and you believe in coaching, Caleb Banks has the potential to be like real deal Holyfield. But we'll see. If you get to, I think D lineman at 37 should be the play. And I know you don't want to do that. You don't want to back yourself into a corner, but we got to draft this position. But
even if they double defense with 5 and 10.
I think so, because
yeah, you got to replace.
You're sorry defensive tackles if you play a game tomorrow, or who? Roy Robertson Harris and Darius Alexander?
Yep.
That ain't very good. CJP NYC, what's up, Brody? Appreciate the $5 super chat. If you got a comment, a take, an idea, you just want to say something, put it in the chat, man. We'll read it out loud. Thanks for being here and supporting the program. Boomer, Sooner. This draft has a decent amount of nose tackles. Yeah, there's a couple that I like on day 3. Albert Regis out of Texas A&M. Really like him. Big Citrus. Big fan of him as well.
Dominique.
Yeah, Dominique Orange.
I think this is Sam Brown, Boomer Sooner. You think he's knee deep in nose tackles? I could tell you with all those players he's looked at. So
yeah, he's probably working from home.
Yeah,
probably really busy working from home. I think he was at the Stars game even working as well.
I did see that.
Yeah, I like Regis. I like orange. I like Darrell Jackson could play some nose. We picked him at 97 in our mock draft. You're gonna have to replace Dexter Lawrence and his production with numbers of players. You're not doing it with just one player. You're not. John Kirk, what's up, man? With the cap space, sign Reader, Harris, and Zeitler. Yeah, at 37, sign Hunter or Miller. 10th pick can easily be turned into multiple picks. They have options. Can I say something that I think is very, very mean, but I would do, and it's very, very cutthroat? I would cut John Runyon tomorrow, sign Kevin Zeitler tomorrow, sign DJ Reed. I would sign all of them after the draft, but I would cut John Runyon, save $9 million, give that $9 million to Kevin Zeitler, who's a better player. Runyon's not on your team next year. I would bring in Reader and Harris, and yeah, that's what I would do. Zeitler is a better player than John Runyon and could probably cost the same, if not less. But I'm cutthroat, and I just want what's best for the Giants, and I think there's better plans than John Runyon.
We got a 3-point goal. Seth Gross, bang!
What up, Seth Gross? F-Dex.
Seth Gross.
Playing ball, no matter what sport, is never only about your play. It's about character. Dex showed his character. So long, sucker. That phrase cracks him. So long, sucker. Let's go blue. I don't want to trash Dexter Lawrence more than I feel like I have, which I don't even feel like I've trashed him. I feel like I've just stated the facts of the situation. He didn't want to be here. He made that abundantly clear. He does not like Joe Shane. So, yeah, it's over. And
What do you think it says about John Harbaugh's relationship with Joe Shane? Anything, or
no, I don't think. Well, why do you say that?
Well, because you said it. I mean, part of it was personal with Joe Shane as well.
Yeah, I think what I meant more so by that is Joe Shane.
Like the hardball negotiation tactics.
No, that Dexter Lawrence doesn't want to be on a team that Joe Shane is a part of.
Okay.
Yeah. It's no secret that those two guys don't like each other. But, yeah, like, Giants just turned 28-year-old Dexter Lawrence off the worst season of his career into the 10th pick. Pretty damn good move. I don't know who gets the credit for it, but now you got to hit the pick. Got to hit the pick. And I don't even think that player needs to be as good as Dexter Lawrence for this trade to be considered a success. I think your locker room might be in a better spot. Your salary cap is in a better spot. Your team will be younger, and it will be more in the image of John Harbaugh. And look, Dexter Lawrence is a John Harbaugh type of player, no doubt about that. But he's also not a disgruntled superstar who may have had the best days of his career already go by. So as long as that player you draft at 10 is someone that you sign to a second contract and he is a starter on your team, I think that's a good spot to be in. That's a good spot to be in. Romdre, 81. Whoop! Good time for a mock. What do we do at 10? We'll be getting into a mock draft coming up in a second. Keep your butts in those seats. CJ, P, NYC. Okay, so we have 2 picks in the top 10 and get value from that. But who do you want with 5 and 10, and where do you think we go with the DT spot? We'll be doing our mock draft coming up momentarily. Shout out to y'all. We'll do it all in a second.
Shout out to CJP. Luca D1 crash out.
What's up? Do you think that McDonald kid from Ohio State will be available with our second-round pick? I think it's a possibility. Definitely do think it's a possibility. There's some people that don't think a defensive tackle's going in round 1. There's a chance he's there.
That'd be great news.
T. Will, I am talking. It's my job. I am talking. Thank you. Thank you. Mike DeVito, what up? Marsh, this is a massive trade for us. Let him loose. Let him lose in Cincinnati. Let's get our wide receiver at 10. Sign Reader or whoever else to improve our D-line. Love y'all. What do you think about a receiver at 10?
I don't.
It's a lot of ammunition at the receiver spot. Pick number 6, $36 million in Darius Slayton, $10 million in Darnell Mooney, and the number 10 pick. Can Joe Sheehan hit on something?
We've talked about how you just said it on the video we put out earlier today. The Giants don't expect or want to be picking this high anymore in future years. They want to move on from this. They want to become a winning playoff caliber football team. And if it is Tyson, do you have the chance, if you're never picking this high again, are you going to have a chance at to get a guy with that kind of upside in future years? Maybe not. If they take him, it's obvious they're probably comfortable with his medicals and they believe in their medical staff, which I think has been kind of tweaked since John Harbaugh came in the building. And do you get that long-term partner running mate for Malik Neighbors? Like, yes, you signed Isaiah Likely, but he's a tight end, and we talked about it, I guess, when we were live for the mock, that he's still largely unproven. Like, the Giants gave him a contract projected on what they think he's going to do, but he is not necessarily a proven player. So there's certain positions that talented and high-end players don't become available to get, whether it's wide receiver, quarterback, offensive tackle, corner. Like, top-end players at those positions are not usually available to your team unless it's in the draft, whether it's you can't trade for them or you can't sign them for agency, because if teams have guys that are good at those positions, they don't let them go. So could be a good spot to try and take a wide receiver, and if it's Tyson, to swing for the fences. And imagine if you can build the next Chase and Higgins or Smith and Brown or Lamb and Pickens, whatever it is. That's what I think the goal would be if you're taking a receiver in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with any of that. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. We won't have to wait for much longer. Boomer Sooner. Seeing some rumors Dallas wants to move up for Love. I think it's more so they want to move up for a Buckeye. Maybe Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs. Can't put anything past Jared Jones, though, that's for sure. Gaming 101, what's happening, man? Honestly, it just makes me want to trade down more. You don't want to trade down too far and miss the crop. Miss the crop. There's, 10 first-round picks in this class, and you're picking 10? By first-round picks, I mean first-round grades on players.
Yeah, consensus first-round caliber prospects.
You don't want to trade down and miss Micah Parsons or Rashawn Slater or Elijah Vera Tucker and end up with Kadarius Toney. You don't want to do that. Luke Coop City. Love that. We need to sign Odell Beckham as a red zone weapon. Look, last I heard that the Giants and Odell Beckham Jr. had a good meeting in Arizona, and they were loosely talking about a potential workout, when that workout would be, and where that workout would be. I haven't heard anything since. Carlos Colon, what's up, man? Any relation to Bartolo? Back to G-Men football. Dex will not be missed. I don't think that's fair. I think Dexter Lawrence will be missed. I know it's easy to poo-poo Dexter Lawrence because the Giants are great at PR and making it seem like he's the villain in this situation. And I do think there is some fingers to be pointing in the blame department for Dexter Lawrence.
Fault on both sides.
Yeah, fault on both sides. I think it's – imagine you go to your job and, I don't know, maybe you do annual reviews and you get a raise or no raise every year. And let's say you get a raise on August 1st, and then you ask for a new raise 2 weeks later after you demanded that raise. Like, I don't know. Asking for a new contract after 1 year of the contract that you signed, which made you, at the time, a top 5 highest paid defensive tackle, probably wasn't the best plan of action for Dexter Lawrence. And then leaking that to the media and then all the other hoopla. Connor. Hey, Marsh, do you see us trading Kayvon still? Yeah, I think if you get a second round pick, 100% done. Third round pick, 100% done. I think if you get a pick in the early part of the fourth round, I think he could be traded as well. Do you see us trading Kayvon still and try to fill up either a hole at right guard or defensive tackle for the draft? Yeah, I do. I think it could happen.
I think those signings will probably try and happen after the draft because of the comp pick formula. Giants short of like what we talked about in prior videos, is that they weren't planning on kind of playing that comp pick game, and they are in position to get one with the way the signings have gone right now. So if they're going to add a veteran to their roster, they're likely going to wait until after the draft, because then they won't count against that comp pick formula. But yeah, they've had a couple DTs in on visits, Shelby Harris and DJ Reader, and there's still a couple guards available who could help the football team. So there's a chance they add one of those as well.
Appreciate you, Connor. Master of Coin. Let's do Styles.
It's got to be Styles and Downs.
Let's do Styles and Downs at 5 and 10. Hope McDonald drops 37 New York Football Buckeyes. I ain't mad at that. If you walk out of the first 3 picks with Styles, Downs, and McDonald, you've put all your chips in on defense, and you've turned your defense in theory to a great defense, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Might have to have Billy on the show if that's what happens.
He's going to have to learn the NFL, though, if he's going to do that. Might want to learn how trades work. Piece 2, Mateo. Is Dex Albert Haynesworth 2.0? That's Cincinnati to find out. At this point, if Dexter Lawrence goes and wins a Super Bowl, awesome. If Dexter Lawrence is the worst player in the NFL for the next 5 years, it doesn't move me. He's not a Giant, and I'm a Giants fan, and like I don't really care. I don't really care. I don't know. He was a Giant. We all rooted for him. We all love Dexter Lawrence. Not a Giant anymore. I don't really care. I don't really care. I don't have any ill will towards him. I don't hate him. But I ain't going to be rooting for him ever. Ever. And hope the best for him. Brandon Cruz, our draft is going to be the best again this year. Can't screw up best player available 2 times in the top 10. Yeah, look, in theory, you already botched 2 top 10 picks. Maybe you can hit on 2 top 10 picks now.
Is that how that works?
50% chance you hit on first round picks. So
maybe Joe's learned something.
So if you miss on Kayvon, you miss on Neal, and you miss on Banks, but you hit on
Jerry not out on Evan Neal yet.
Oh yeah, no, that's right.
Back.
John Harbaugh's seen the film.
He loves him.
What do you think you'd do if you saw him at Willowbrook? Justin, what's up, my man? Let's trade number 10 down. Target Ioane another second.
If he's there and you're on the clock at 10, do
Just
you mess
take
around?
him.
Yeah.
Also, I would rather have pick 10 than like pick 15 and also like how are you getting another second? How far do you think you have to go back? Teams aren't giving you a second to go from 11 to 10, 12 to 10, 13 to 10, 14 to 10. I don't know. I'm kind of cool with just sticking and picking at 10. Give me 2 of the best 10 players in the class. Giants could use some of those guys, right?
I think there's probably a reason why they said they were targeting a top 10 pick. They feel there's a tier of 10 guys that are above the rest of the guys in the draft. We'll see. Draft day they'll have to show their cards like every team will. So.
Yep. The real officer back again. Jennings Dunker a steal at 10 or 37. I'm not taking Jennings Dunker at 10. No, I'm not. Probably
you don't want that sweet mullet going at the back of that Giants helmet?
I'm not picking Jennings Dunker at 37 either.
Giants don't currently have a third, but he's a mid-round target.
I think 105 is like Jennings Dunker territory.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Pitcher, what do you think of Yura Bernard from Nigeria? Yeah, I've never seen him play football. I've seen him run really fast, and I've seen him jump really high, but there's a lot more to football than that. If you want to take a chance on him with one of your 3 6-round picks and coach him up and put him on the practice squad for a year or 2 and see what you got, sure, but I don't know. Mr. Cha says, when's the last time the Giants picked a true linebacker in round 1? I don't think they ever have in my lifetime. Smitty and I did this game where we went back to 2006 first-round picks, and it wasn't a linebacker. So, I don't know. It's been a long time. Let's see what
Could
Google
happen.
says.
Get back to that old Giants way. We'll see. We've done a couple of videos on kind of the links in John Harbaugh's the talented players that he's had at that linebacker position. They did sign Tremaine Edmonds, and they did re-sign Michael McFadden, but don't think that if there's a guy in the top 5 or top 10, whether it's Sonny Styles or someone else that you think is going to be a game changer, I don't think that stops you from taking that player. So.
Carl Banks, 1984, with the 3rd overall selection.
Worked out pretty well.
Which means next time you pick an inside linebacker, it'll just be Carl Banks, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Just like the next time you pick an offensive tackle that has a bad first year, they'll just be the next
Evan
Andrew
Neal.
Thomas, right?
Oh yeah, Evan Neal.
Oh wait, that was Evan Neal.
Yeah. That's why he was gonna.
Shit, and since Andrew Thomas had a bad rookie year and then a good second year, that meant that guys like John Michael Schmitz and Evan Neal and Jalen Hyatt would all be good, right? Do we always have to point out the most extreme situations to apply it?
Well, it's like how the Knicks are just going to turn it on because they did last year.
Yeah, exactly. Brianna, what's up? Let's go Giants and Knicks. 1-0. 15 wins away. 15 wins away. Thank you. Tyrell Smith, what's up, Brody? Yeah. What's up, family? What do you think of trade backs at 5 or 10? I want to pick at 5 and 10. I just want to pick at 5 and 10. You don't want to get too cute. Just take the best players on the board. That's where I'm at, 5 and 10. You want to trade down for 37? Cool. But I think actually picking at 10 makes it probably a little bit more likely that you could trade down at 37. And then maybe you could trade down 15 spots and pick up a late 3rd round pick. But I've got a Rolex in this hand and a really nice diamond chain in this one. I don't really want to change those out and run the risk of not taking those valuable players again. Switchblade. Shane can't screw the, yeah, last words. Shane can't screw these up. He hasn't hit on many top 100 picks. No, he's actually like a really good GM, and they should probably build a statue for him. Yeah. Totally kidding. I hate him. White Pepper would love to somehow get Lemon. I don't hate it. I don't hate Mekhi Lemon at 10.
Yeah, do you think they like him at 10? He was in on the building on a top 30 visit, I believe. So they've kind of done their due diligence. They spoke with him at the combine, so if they like him, probably going to have a chance to get him unless he goes. I guess he could theoretically go like 8 to the Saints, but
I could see him being on the board when the Giants are on the clock at 10. Guillermo Valdez. Since we have money now, could we sign Hill or Diggs? What are your thoughts?
Those guys are still available.
They are still available. I think you're more so looking at DJ Reader and Shelby Harris, 2 veteran defensive tackles that you've already brought in for free agency visits. I think they'll start there first. Corey Hurd, a legend. What's up, Brody? Barkley was my first NFL jersey purchase, and he left in free agency. Dexter Lawrence was my second NFL purchase, and he gets traded. What jersey should I buy next? I think my rebuttal will be like, why didn't you buy a Daniel Jones jersey 3 years ago? That's what I would say. Do you buy a Joe Shane jersey? Custom? Number 0, 00, because he has nothing for brains? I'm kidding, kind of. Buy a Darius Slayton jersey. That's a really good one to buy. And if you don't want to buy a jersey, get your brand new Abdul Carter shirts. Chatsports.com/AC3. He switched his number from 51 to 3. But if you want to support the channel instead of buying a jersey, chatsports.com/AC3. Yeah, I'd say get a Joe Shane jersey or a Darius Slayton jersey. That's what I would roll with. Corey Hurd, 1-0, Corey. 1-0.
Life of Brandon and Mahogany. Shout out for the $10 super chat. If you have a comment or something, drop it in the chat. Question, let us know. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Let's ride. What if Cincy pulls a Ravens?
Oh.
The elbow doesn't look as good?
That would be crazy. If that happened twice in one offseason, I feel like, well, what we learned out of that is that the teams usually have to send the medicals. It seems like you mentioned that there was a report that they offered them this trade. This Bengals offered the Giants a trade 2 weeks ago. So they've probably been discussing it. You have to imagine those medicals were looked at. But you never know.
That'd be bad. That'd be really bad.
That would be awful.
Papa Swanky. Giants are cooking. That's how you fast track the rebuild. Got to hit on the picks, but you are right, P. Swanky. 1-0, brother. 1-0. Shout out to Papa Swanky. Drew, does this completely eliminate trading down from 5? I think so. Maybe you go 5 to 8, but I don't think you're trading from 5 to outside the top 10. That would be my thoughts. Could be wrong, though. Could be wrong. Life of Brandon, back again. Thank you, brother. I think we should draft Love at 5 if he's available, and Downs at 10 or Mansour Delane. I also like Rodriguez at linebacker in round 2. I like Jacob Rodriguez a lot as well.
That stuff all sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. David, what's up, Brody? What do you think about Colby Young, wide receiver, Georgia? I still got to finish up some wide receiver tape. I've kind of been putting it on the back burner. I know you've asked me about him before. I'll make sure to check it out. That's on me, bro. I'm doing a lot of cramming the last couple of days. I've kind of got all around 1 guys, all around 2 guys. But receivers is one I've kind of waited on because I don't know if the Giants are going to draft one. But
probably not late. It feels like they're going to either make a premium investment or they're probably going to wait all because they have some depth now with some of the guys they picked up. They signed Austin. They signed Mooney. Slayton is going to be on the roster for better or for worse, it seems. So they have Gunnar Olszewski, who's really more of a returner, but he's there. They have some depth pieces, so it seems like if they are going to make a move, probably going to be more of a premium pick, but we'll see. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting, David. Clifford Niles. What defensive tackle do you think that we should draft that could maybe have an immediate impact?
I think there's a lot of defensive tackles that you're looking at 37. I think Caden McDonald out of Ohio State is there. Caleb Banks out of Florida is an option. Christian Miller out of Georgia is someone to keep your eyes on. Peter Woods out of Clemson. Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. I think those are the only defensive tackles I would look to select with the number 37 overall pick. I think all those would be immediate impact guys. All of them. NY Giants fan, 1029. Appreciate you. Just turned on the stream, so excuse me if you answer this, but would you guys hate if the Giants traded from 10 to get more picks? Would I hate it? No, I would not hate it at all, but I'm just kind of in the opinion would I rather, I guess I look at it like this. Would I rather trade Dexter Lawrence for the 10th pick, or would I rather trade Dexter Lawrence for the 15th pick and the 84th pick? I'd probably just rather have the 10th pick.
Yeah, I think if that scenario ends up happening, it signals maybe they had 8 guys they liked and they were all gone by the time they were on the clock, and they don't think there's a huge drop off from the guy they're getting at 10 from the guy they're getting at 15 or wherever they would trade back to.
And I think this trade signifies that there are 10 guys that they really like.
Yeah.
And it's only really got to be 9 guys because Mendoza. We always hear Joe Shane talk about that. When he picked at 6, we only got to love 6 guys. When we picked at 5 and 7, we only got to love 7 guys. And they picked at 3, said we only got to love 3 guys. I don't think you make this trade unless you really love 9 guys in this class. The Allen Nedzwicki. What's up, fellas? What up, real ones? This right here is why you clean house when you bring in a new coach. Shane should have been gone, but here we are. I think it was a good deal for the current atmosphere. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, I know you're a frequent flyer at Five Guys, Vinny Pip, and I'm not talking about the burger stand. Yeah, no, I think that this is honestly a great trade. I'm B+ to an A-. I don't know what better offer you could have got. I thought everyone told us that we robbed Patrick Seatman for the 18th and 97th pick, and pick 10 is worth more points for the Rich Hill trade value chart than 18 and 97.
Yeah, I think Giants win this trade big time. And I think, I don't think they would have traded Dex unless they thought they were really winning the trade. I felt they probably would have held on to him and let it play out. They weren't just going to give him away for nothing. So they find a trade they like. Cincinnati gets a guy that maybe they feel like, okay, we're not getting anyone better than Dexter Lawrence with the 10th overall pick. And they kind of did that song and dance with some trying to add impact defensive players previously with Shamar Stewart in prior years. And they decide they want to go get Dex and try and build around Joe Burrow, and that's their prerogative. And the Giants are going to kind of reload here with the 5th pick and the 10th pick and try and build the roster in John Harbaugh's image and kind of get some culture setters and some tone setters for this team. Shout out to you, Ned Zwicky, man. A legend.
Ned Zwicky, we love you, brother.
Boomer
See you
Sooner.
Thursday.
Back again.
Sam Brown working OT.
Yeah.
I don't see wide receiver happening with the first 2 picks based on the depth of the position in the draft and the fact we signed a couple of free agents. I think I alluded to it, but it wasn't like kind of the same way you're in. I don't think that Darnell Mooney on a $6.5 million guaranteed deal and
Austin.
yeah, Calvin Austin, who's on $1.5 million, stops you from picking a receiver. Colin Cowherd tweets out, New York Giants now have 2 picks in the top 10. Sonny Styles, I was told by a GM, is, quote, cleanest pick in this draft. Grab him at 5, will be eventual defensive captain. Spencer Fano at right tackle with the next pick. Select a wide receiver in round 2. Might as well print playoff tickets Monday. And then Jermaine Illuminor quote tweeted that and said, keep looking, boys. We got to find who the F asked. Does Colin Cowherd not know that the Giants just paid their starting right tackle $45 million?
I don't know. I think once he said Jalen Brunson wasn't good at basketball, that's kind of when I stopped listening to what he said. But think that, I mean, we've talked about them taking an O-lineman at 10, but that would probably be with the intention of playing said O-lineman at guard, whether it's Vega Ioane, who is a guard, or Francis Mauigoa, who has, I think Fano is thought to have some positional versatility as well, and potentially with the idea that whoever the offensive lineman they do pick, if it's one of those quote-unquote tackles, could slide out to tackle once Jermaine Illuminor plays out the duration of that contract. So,
if you could undo this trade right now, would you do it?
The Dex trade? No. Or like, so you say just you can sign Dex to a new contract and he play any?
Yeah, $28.5 million per year.
No, because I think we're going to get a cornerstone player at 10 who's going to be here for a long time and it's going to be cheap and enable us to get more veteran players as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't undo it either. Because Dexter Lawrence didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be at my party, don't come to my party. Vasquez, I know it's not smart, but love and lemon. I don't think it'd be stupid to add a receiver and a running back to build around a young quarterback. No pushback for me there, King Wasabi. Appreciate you, Vasquez. Always, bro.
Pelly. So do the Bengals win the bowl this year or next year? Wondering for betting reasons.
I don't know.
Like anytime you have a quarterback like Joe Burrow, you got a chance.
Yep. They had last 3 years, they had Trey Hendrickson. They just essentially replaced him for Dexter Lawrence.
True. That money.
Is Dexter Lawrence better than Trey Hendrickson? We're going to find out. Corium. Caleb Downs and Mekhi Lemon. Let's get on with the mock. We will get into the mock draft coming up momentarily. Again, appreciate everybody for being here. Still 1,200 people in the building. Thank you. Brandon Cruz. Possibilities are endless. We got options. Let's cook these Marsh mock drafts ASAP before Thursday. Field Yates and Mel Kiper. Better tune in. We can't miss. Hell yeah. If only there was a mock drafter that traded Dexter Lawrence and got a first-round pick and took Vega Ioane, that'd be really good. I'd subscribe to his YouTube channel. I'd probably draw on a widow's peak if he had one, too. Sky Kissel. But Marshall, any sour feelings towards Dex? The only sour feelings is he didn't want to be here. And that's really all I got. I don't think he played his cards right. And
hope he gets what he wants the rest of his career, man. You wanted a big new contract. Cincinnati's going to give it to you. There you go.
Yep. Have fun. Have fun in Cincinnati. Eric, any combo of Love, Styles, Downs, Delane, Tate, Tyson, Lemon, Maui, Noah, or Fano will be fantastic. Yeah. I cool. Sign me up. Where do I sign? I'm in. EPL. Let's go, Marsh. I, for one, will always root for the laundry first, last, and always 8 wins on tap.
I think that means the jersey, like the Giants jersey.
Giants on the front. I think this is my guy, Edward Lynch, by the way.
Edward Lynch?
I think it is. Could be wrong.
We are caught up. Looks like one just came in.
Yeah, E. Lynch. That's my guy, E. Lynch.
Shout out E. Lynch. Two just flew in. When do you want to kind of get on with this mock, or you want to keep rolling?
Yeah, let's just clear out all the super chats. I don't want to see those pile up and people have to wait.
All right, we're caught up, but a couple just came in, so.
Yeah, just clear those out, and then we'll roll into the mock.
Cool.
Tanash, B. Coupland, James Ryan. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Thank you to everybody that's super chatted. It has been confirmed that Joe Shane had dinner with Jordan Tyson Thursday night, Thursday night. Tanash, what up? My ideal draft would be Love or Styles at 5 and Downs or Mansour at 10. Also, check out Skylar Bell, wide receiver from UConn. When you get the chance, he'd be doing me justice because I'm from Connecticut. Yeah, you should go check out the mock draft that we put on the channel yesterday. I ended up picking him with selection number 105, I think. So, yeah, I like him a lot. B. Coop, what's up, Brody? What do you think about moving back on both? No.
That would be, yeah.
Would you rather have the 5th pick or would you rather have the 18th pick, the 25th pick, and the 31st pick? I'd rather have
Premium.
Give me the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Cream of the crop. James Ryan, would you ever host New York Jersey Devils?
Is that like a channel, like a hockey channel? I guess so.
I'm just not a hockey guy.
I thought that was like a player for the Giants hosting on a visit. Yeah, no Chat Sports hockey channels. There was a live stream from our guy Jeffrey Cooperstein, for the gold medal U.S. game, but no hockey channels at the moment. So could be never say never down the road.
I do our Knicks channel as well, so I've got my hands full. Brendo. Too many former G-men have gone off and got a ring, but I don't feel like that's going to happen. Dex is bitter and got what he wanted. Good for him and good luck. I know I'm happy. Yeah. And that's exactly how I feel. Dexter Lawrence wins a ring. Dexter Lawrence never wins another game. Dexter Lawrence never plays another down in the NFL. Dexter Lawrence becomes the best player ever. He's not a Giant anymore. And I'm a Giants fan. I was a Dexter Lawrence fan, but I'm a Giants fan. All right, let's roll into this mock draft.
Cool. How do you want to start it? You want to just rip it like on the just?
Yeah, I think.
You want to break down the trade first, or?
Yeah, let's just start on with the trade.
Okay.
And then I could just
verbalize.
Yeah, verbalize it.
Cool. We got to rip prize picks on this as well.
Yeah.
So.
Just do it. We'll just do it right after the 5th pick, or start a stopwatch, and if we have to.
Cool. We could always put it in as well, but yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. We'll get it done.
All right. We're about to get into a mock draft with pick number 5 and pick number 10 for the New York Giants. And then we'll go over the top 10 players I want the Giants to target with selections 5 and 10. Excuse me. I'm exhausted. He does. He leaves a big hole on the defense. Absolutely. All right, we ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Coming up on today's show, we are going to do a mock draft following the Dexter Lawrence trade. The New York Giants now own the number 5 and the number 10 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and we are presented by Prize Picks. All right, let's roll into this mock draft. The New York Giants own the number 5 pick, and they own the number 10 pick as well. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. We can go ahead and skip to number 5. It went Fernando Mendoza. What does that say second?
Sonny Styles to the Jets at number 2.
Arvell Reese, number 3, and David Bailey, number 4, which means the Giants are on the clock at number 5. And for me, this is an easy selection. I lean Jeremiah Love in this spot. Look, I love Caleb Downs. If the Giants go ahead and pick Caleb Downs at number 5, I'll be super happy about that as well. But I think you could potentially get Caleb Downs at number 10. I don't think that you can get Jeremiah Love at 10, and I think Jeremiah Love is the best player in this class. So I'm going to go with Jeremiah Love, number 5 overall for the New York Football Giants. AC, tell us who went 6, 7, 8, and 9 in this draft, if you can.
The Cleveland Browns selected Francis Maui-Noah, the offensive tackle out of the University of Miami. Then the Washington Commanders went with Reuben Bain Jr., also a Hurricane at number 7 overall. Caleb Downs was scooped up by the New Orleans Saints at the 8th pick. And with the 9th pick, the Chiefs took Mansour Delane, corner out of LSU.
So right now, any wide receiver is still on the board. Carnell Tate could be an option. Jordan Tyson could be an option as well. But for me in this spot, I'm looking at someone that's going to help the player I just picked at number 5. I'm looking for someone that's going to help my franchise quarterback as well. And I'm going to go ahead and take the interior offensive lineman out of Penn State, Vanga Ioane, with the number 5 overall pick. Here, let's actually just redo that since you only clicked one round. But that's kind of an example of what that could look like. So look, in that draft, let's do 4 rounds. And now we'll probably get a different outcome. And that's the awesome part of doing all of this. Let's just load up the trade. Michael says, hate this. Hey, it's okay. You'll be cheering like a little buttercup once Jeremiah Love busts a 70-yard touchdown. It's okay. I really don't understand the idea of hating Jeremiah Love as a Giant. I'm sorry.
I think people are just burned by the Saquon Barkley situation, or like.
Don't we forget Saquon Barkley won a Super Bowl with the Eagles?
I feel like it's not personal to Jeremiah Love, the player. I feel like it's just the idea of a running back.
Would you say the Philadelphia Eagles are a well-run organization?
Yeah, they've done pretty well.
Would you say that the Kansas City Chiefs are a well-run organization?
They've done pretty well.
Okay. What did the Philadelphia Eagles do in free agency?
Pay a running back.
Oh, and then what'd they do?
Win a Super Bowl.
Okay. The Kansas City Chiefs just did what?
Paid a running back.
Oh, okay. So do we think that we are smarter than Howie Roseman and Brett Veach?
No. Joe Shane certainly is not, and neither are we.
So if the Chiefs can pay a running back, why can't the Giants draft one?
Yeah, or invest a premium draft selection into a guy. And like you said, it's about having a second-year quarterback and doing what you can to help him and support him and make his life easier. You want to kind of go back to the Barkley example. You think how much better Eli Manning was because he had Saquon Barkley? It's a similar idea versus older quarterback and rookie quarterback, but
is running back a luxury if it was the piece that got the Eagles the Super Bowl? Because the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl if they don't have Saquon Barkley. So how could it be a luxury pick? Or was it a foundational piece of their team? All right, let's do it again. Coming up on today's show, we are going to do a mock draft with the number 5 and the number 10 pick since the New York Giants traded Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals for that selection. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and we are presented by Prize Picks. We'll tell you more about Prize Picks coming up in a second. that'd be a good idea to do a mock draft. So let's go ahead and do it. You now own the number 5 pick and the number 10 pick. We'll go through the first 4 rounds of the NFL draft. All right, let's go ahead and start it up. AC, roll me through who the first 4 picks were because I am blind.
Yeah, so Fernando Mendoza went number 1 overall, no shock. Then Arvell Reese, the linebacker at Ohio State, goes to the New York Jets. Sonny Styles gets scooped off the board at number 3 to the Cardinals. And Jeremiah Love was taken by the Tennessee Titans with the 4th selection.
So in this draft, Sonny Styles, not on the board. Jeremiah Love, not on the board as well. I think if I am running the New York Giants here, I am going to lean towards Caleb Downs, the number 5 overall pick for the Giants. If I had to tell you who my big board is for the Giants right now, it's Caleb Downs it's Jeremiah Love 1, it's Caleb Downs 2, and it is Sonny Styles number 3. And with Jeremiah Love gone and Caleb Downs still available, I'm going to roll with the safety out of Ohio State, the Buckeye, Caleb Downs, number 5 for the New York Football Giants. Back on the clock at number 10. Who went 6, 7, 8, and 9, AC?
Yeah, back-to-back Miami Hurricanes. Francis Malinois, the tackle, goes to Cleveland at 6. Then Washington at 7 takes Reuben Bain, the edge rusher. The New Orleans Saints, with a little bit of a shocker, go Dylan Thieneman, the safety out of Oregon, inside the top 10. And then David Bailey, the edge out of Texas Tech, is a Kansas City Chief at number 9.
So best players available. Mansour Delane, corner out of LSU, definitely a need for this team. Cardell Tate, still available. Spencer Fano is there. Monroe Freeling, Kenyon Sadiq, Mekhi Lemon. All of the wide receivers are there. Venga Ioane is there. Jermod McCoy is there. This is an interesting spot for the New York Giants. If you were making the pick here, AC, who would you roll with?
I think I might go with Delane at this pick, and we talked about earlier the idea of kind of doubling up on one side of the ball, building an identity. How about your defensive backfield? If you got Caleb Downs, you got Mansour Delane, you hope to get some production at the other corner spot as well. I could see them going receiver with all of those guys on the board. Tate, Lemon, Tyson, you have your pick at that point, but if I was making the pick, I'm going Mansour Delane.
Yeah, I don't hate that. You definitely would improve your defensive backfield right out of the gates. Man, I just have a hard time passing up Venga Ioane if he is there. I think that could be a starting right guard for you for the next 12 to 15 years. And I don't love the idea of not taking a player at 5 or 10 that doesn't help Jackson Dart. And I know in theory all these players help the Giants, which helps Jackson Dart. But I think the player on the board that helps Dart the most is Venga Ioane, Penn State. I love him, and that's who I'm going to pick right here. So we're going to go with Caleb Downs at 5 and then Venga Ioane at number 10. In a situation like that, I don't hate the idea of potentially trading down from the New York Giants, but we're not going to do any trades in this one. All right, can you go ahead and filter the position to defensive tackle for me if you can? I would like to see who that is. Actually, we will get to this pick coming up in a second. First, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use that promo code HMA. Promo code HMA gets you $50 in lineups instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. I'll make sure that information is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show, which is presented by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app. With playoff basketball finally here, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. All you got to do is pick more or less on a few players and lock in your lineup. I was fortunate enough to cash in on my lineup for Knicks Hawks Game 1. I took the more on points for Jalen Johnson, more on rebounds for Josh Hart, and more on three-pointers made for OG Anunoby. 2.7x my entry fee to win $67.50. Play Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code HMA. Play $5, get $50 instantly. It's a new user offer only Down the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA when you play first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. I'll make sure all of that information is clickable down on the comment and description of today's show. Some people in the chat are asking me why I did not take Mansour Delane instead of Vanga Ioane, because I want to take someone on offense in one of those first two picks, and I want to see the New York Giants build around Jackson Dart. And I think that right guard is more of a pressing need than corner, not far ahead of it, but that is where I kind of land at that spot. Now, if you told me that Emmanuel Pregnon was going to guaranteed to be there at 37, I would have been cool with taking Pregnon then and Delane. But what happens, Andrew Connell, if the Giants take Mansour Delane at 10, and now there's not an option for a starting right guard at number 37, and you have to start Daniel Falele week 1?
Yeah, that's not going to be a good situation for your young quarterback, Jackson Dart, or the long-term health of your offensive line. Listen, we've kind of talked about how there's a lot of options available with the Giants now. They have two top 10 picks, and there's a lot of different ways they can go with it. And I don't think it's ever wrong to build your offensive line, prioritize protecting your young quarterback, and getting a guy who many people have called one of the best players at the draft, regardless of position, potential to be a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro, and Vanga Ioane. So good situation there for the Giants to end up with him. And in this pick, in this situation, Pregnon goes 33 to the Jets, and then 3 straight defensive tackles off the board before the Giants in Kristen Miller, Peter Woods, and Caden McDonald.
Honestly, this is probably one of the worst way the boards could fall for the Giants, even dating back to the number 5 overall pick. I don't mind taking Caleb Downs at 5. I'd rather have him at 10. And right now, there is, and I'm okay with Lee Hunter at 37. I think he's a good player. I think he's someone that can play for you early on. I think he could be a day 1 starter for you. Has a little bit more pass rush pop than I think some people lead on. But he is someone that's going to give you juice as a run stopper, get off of blocks at the line of scrimmage, and make plays there. Just roll us through, AC, the top players available besides just the defensive tackle position, because this could be a spot where the best 3 just went, and maybe you don't feel comfortable taking Lee Hunter here.
Yeah, so we talked about with the fact that we didn't take a corner in Mansour Delane. The best player available is Colton Hood, the corner out of Tennessee. You got Caleb Lomu, the tackle out of Utah, and Lee Hunter, who we just spoke about. Zion Young, the edge from Missouri. Brandon Cisse, another corner from South Carolina. Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama, obviously not a target for the Giants. D'Angelo Pons, another corner out of Indiana. And Chris Bell, wide receiver at Louisville. And Jacob Rodriguez, a linebacker at Texas Tech, a guy that a lot of people have said could be a target for the Giants.
I think in a situation like this, you could be open to trading down. We're not going to do any trades on this mock draft just because it's always so tough. For me, I would take Lee Hunter at this spot. You walk out of this draft with a new starting right guard, a new starting defensive tackle, and a new starting safety. Let's lock it in. The Red Raider defensive tackle, Lee Hunter, with the number 37th overall selection, which means you are back on the clock at pick 105. Who we got?
Top player available is Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback out of LSU. Then Jayshon Barham, edge out of Michigan. Zakee Wheatley, safety out of Penn State. Michael Trigg, tight end, Baylor. Demetrius Crownover, tackle out of Texas A&M. Anthony Lucas, edge, USC. And Durjan Stribling, wide receiver, Mississippi. Is there any position you want to look at? I know you've talked about Will Lee being
that's probably where my eyes go right here. I'm a fan of Will Lee. I thought he played pretty good in the SEC as a boundary corner for the Texas A&M Aggies. That's probably who I would roll with at this pick. So let's go ahead and line it up. 105, Will Lee, the corner out of Texas A&M. So a 4-round mini mock for you. And we'll actually run another one in the same video to kind of just give another idea of what one could look like. But, I mean, how about you guys grade this mock draft for us of Downs, Vanga Ioane, Lee Hunter, and Will Lee, A, B, C, D, or F? I want to hear from all of y'all. AC, what would you take? Or what would you grade this, excuse me?
Yeah, we talked about it's maybe not the best situation for the Giants. You would have liked maybe either Styles or Love to fall to number 5 and then try and target Downs with that second first-round pick at number 10 overall. I'm giving this a B. Like, you still add some good football players. You had Caleb Downs, good football player. Venga Ioane, good football player. Lee Hunter has the ability to step in and help at nose tackle. And then Will Lee at corner. You're still kind of throwing a dart at a position of need there. And we talked about John Harbaugh, Denard Wilson, and D'Alessio as well. Guys who maybe develop talent. They could turn a fourth-round corner into a real contributor for this Giants defense.
Yeah, I go about a B here as well. I didn't love the way that the board fell. You missed out on the top-notch defensive tackles, and I don't mind taking Downs at 5, but not even having the option to take Jeremiah Love. Even though I do have Downs number 2 on my board, I'm just selfishly thinking about the ways that he could fall to number 10. All right, let's run it one more time just to kind of give people another idea of what the way that this could shake out is.
All right, here we go. Start the draft. So in this version of the draft, it goes Fernando Mendoza, Ruben Bain, Sonny Styles, and Arvell Reese.
So in neither of these drafts does Sonny Styles fall to 5.
None of them now.
I don't think he does fall to 5, by the way.
It's seeming less and less likely by the day. You talked about how Robert Saleh, the Tennessee Titans head coach, may be interested in him. He goes to the Cardinals in this draft. They scoop him up 3rd overall. In one of our simulations, I believe, he also has gone 2 to the Jets as well. So, like you said, seeming less and less likely by the day that Sonny Styles will be available at number 5 overall.
Let's offer a trade in this one right here. Let's see if we can go from 5 to 8, because I would just take Jeremiah Love here. We'll try to mix it up, though. Who do we got? Who's available? Who is wanting to move up? Washington. I don't really want to trade up with Washington. Who else is up there? Cowboys.
Dallas, the Rams at 13, the Vikings at 18, the Bills at 26, and the 49ers at 27.
Go manually click on the Saints. Let's see what they got. Can you get 8 and 42 for 5? Let's see what they say. Offer the trade. And they accepted it. All right. So you move back 3 spots, and you're on the board at number 8. Let's see what we got.
So David Bailey was the guy who the Saints ended up taking with that 5th overall pick. Then Jeremiah Love goes 6th to the Cleveland Browns. Mansour Delane is scooped up by the Commanders, 7th overall. And that means the New York Giants are on the clock at number 8. Top players available: Francis Mauigoa, Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, Dylan Thieneman, Spencer Fano, Monroe Freeling, Kenyon Sadiq, and Mekhi Lemon. And then Venga Ioane.
Let's go Downs again.
Back on the clock 2 picks later. The next pick was Mauigoa.
Just to mix it up this time, let's go Tyson. Because I think there's a chance that he does go number 10 to the Giants.
Yeah, we talked about how Joe Shane recently went to one of his workouts. There's been some links between the Giants and Tyson, and it seems like he could be a real target for them at 10. So that's what ends up happening here.
Let's do it. So now you're on the board at 37, and then you're back on the clock at what number?
42.
Who do we have at the top of round 2 go?
So Ty Simpson went 33rd to the Jets. Caleb Banks goes to the Cardinals at 34. Emmanuel Pregnon, 35 to the Titans. And Peter Woods, 36th to the Raiders. Top players on the board are Casey Concepcion, Kristen Miller, Caleb Lomu, Lee Hunter, Zion Young, Brandon Cisse, D'Angelo Pons, Chris Bell, Jacob Rodriguez.
I would take Christian Miller in this spot. I think arguably he's the safest defensive tackle. You need a defensive tackle. He's not going to replace Dexter Lawrence by himself. Let's go with Christian Miller in this spot.
So between those 2 picks, Lee Hunter goes 38 to the Texans. Zion Young, 39th to the Browns. Brandon Cisse, the corner, goes to the Chiefs. And then Casey Concepcion picked by the Bengals, 41st overall. Leaving the top players available is Caleb Lomu, tackle out of Utah, D'Angelo Pons, corner Indiana, Chris Bell, wide receiver Louisville, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker Texas Tech, Chris Johnson, corner San Diego State, R. Mason Thomas, edge Oklahoma, Chase Basantis, guard Texas A&M.
Let's go Basantis. You need a guard. You can't walk out of the first 2 rounds, especially if you have 4 picks, and not find a starting right guard. I think Chase Besantis can start for you at right guard or at left guard. Then you're back on the clock at 105.
So let's kind of recap what we have to this point. We've got Caleb Downs with the 8th pick after we traded back with the Saints. Jordan Tyson, 10th overall from the pick we received in the Dexter Lawrence trade. Kristen Miller, the defensive tackle, at 37, and Chase Besantis, the guard, at 42. So you have gone 2 players on each side of the ball, 1 on each line, and 1 as more of a skill position player.
All right. Best players available. Who do we got? Markel Bell, Kayshawn Elliott, Malik Muhammad. I like him a lot. Will Lee is there again.
Michael Trigg, Malik Muhammad, Dante Corleone, Billy Schrouth, although we did take a guard. Xavier Harris, D-tackle out of Ole Miss. Chris McClellan. I mean, we because we've got the extra pick, we've hit a lot of different positions. Is there any specific position you're looking at? You're looking to target?
I really like Malik Muhammad here, or I'd go Corleone to try to throw 2 darts there at that defensive tackle spot.
Yeah, I don't hate either idea. I like getting a corner, and this guy we talked about who's got some talent and has been productive. The idea of kind of like trying to fill Dexter Lawrence's role by getting a few different guys is not a bad idea either. Looks like some people are saying Malik Muhammad or Will Lee again in the chat, or they're saying that we should go for a corner. What do you think?
Let's just go Malik Muhammad. We could run 1 more as well, just since we took downs both times here. Just doing these as exercises to kind of just put some color to the picture of what it could look like. I mean, heck, if you walk out of the first 4 rounds with Downs, Tyson, Miller, Besantis, and Muhammad, that's a pretty good haul.
You're adding a lot of talent to your football team. Young talent, cheap talent, controllable talent, hitting both sides of the ball as well. Do a lot worse than this.
Yeah. I also like how in round 2 with those 2 picks, you find 2 guys that should be starters or not eventual starters for you in Miller and Besantis, and you add some legit talent with Tyson and Downs as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're adding 4 starters, you're picking 4 times in the top 42, you're adding some real talent to your football team, and you hit both of the trenches in that with those round 2 selections as well. Something that John Harbaugh has said is you got to build the best offensive line, the best defensive line in football. So,
all right, we'll do 1 more. No trades here, and then we'll see what we got. So both times we took Downs, and both these we took different O linemen and different D linemen. Let's see what we got here for the New York Giants. Read me off the first 5 picks, AC.
Yep, we go Fernando Mendoza, shocker, goes number 1 again. Ruben Bain is a guy who seems to go high in these, has gone 2nd to the Jets. Arvell Reese goes 3rd to the Cardinals, and David Bailey 4th to the Titans, which means the Giants have the choice of Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, Francis Maui-Noah, Caleb Downs at number 5 overall.
Let me know who you guys would pick in this spot. Type J for Jeremiah Love, C for Caleb Downs, or S for Sonny Styles. We've done a lot of mocks with Jeremiah Love. We've done a lot of mocks with Caleb Downs. Let's go ahead and take Sonny Styles with this pick to just see like what a Sonny Styles mock draft would look like. I would take Jeremiah Love, though.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time he's been here as well, so get a good opportunity to get him and add him to the team.
Cool. Roll Styles here. Then you're back on the clock at pick number 10. Francis Maui-Noah is still there. Mansour Delane is there. Carnell Tate, Kenyon Sadiq, Makai Lemon, Venga Yawane, as well as Jordan Tyson. I think here you probably lean O-line. I think with Francis Maui-Noah there kind of staring you in the face, that's the pick for me. You start him at right guard early in his career, and then when Illuminor leaves or retires, you could bounce him out to right tackle. So you walk out of first round with the best offensive lineman in the class and the best off-ball linebacker as well.
Yeah, I think that point that you hit on is exactly like why Francis Maui-Noah is an attractive option in the draft, is the ability to fill an immediate hole and also a long-term hole at a more valuable position in tackle. Versatility is key and why he's a good target. So we've been kind of going through the back half of these as we do it. 30th went Colton Hood to the Dolphins. Patriots took Kristen Miller, 31st. Casey Concepcion went to the Seahawks, 32nd. Then T.J. Parker, the edge out of Clemson. Caden Proctor, tackle out of Alabama. Pregnon has not once made it to the 37th pick. He goes 35th to the Titans. And then Lee Hunter was the selection for the Raiders at 36, which means you still have two premier defensive tackles on the board in Caleb Banks and Peter Woods here at 37 overall.
Yeah, run us through who else we got.
Caleb Lomu, the tackle out of Utah. Zion Young, edge Missouri. Brandon Cisse, corner out of South Carolina. Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback. D'Angelo Pons, corner out of Indiana. Chris Bell, wide receiver at Louisville. Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker out of Texas Tech. And that's kind of the top.
To me, right here,
8.
it's an obvious pick between Banks and Woods. Do you want both these guys are kind of swing for the fences players. Woods was a guy that was looked at as a top 10 pick coming into the season, but I think Caleb Banks has the highest ceiling of any player. I'm just not so sure that he's the most likely to hit that ceiling. We've done Peter Woods in the past. Let's roll with Caleb Banks on this one. If you want to click on his name just to kind of show off, click on first look if you can. What does that say?
Says Banks' length and strength are best utilized in an odd front, particularly in a 3-4 scheme. In that role, he can occupy space, shed blocks, and contribute as a complementary pass rusher rather than a primary one. 6'6", 330, redshirt senior, 23 years old.
Let's roll with the 6'6", 330, big man in the middle, Caleb Banks. So you get Styles, you get Malinoa, you get Caleb Banks, and you're back on the clock at selection 105. We've taken a corner twice now at this spot. I don't want to do that again. I don't hate the idea here, AC, of just doubling down on defensive tackle, kind of give you a little bit of cushion as well if Caleb Banks isn't the guy that you hope he is. Who are some of the best defensive tackles left on the board? Because nobody really at the top there am I absolutely in love with.
Yeah, you got, so the filter in by defensive tackle. Top players available are Dante Corleone out of Cincinnati, Xavier Harris out of Ole Miss, Landon Robinson out of Navy, Chris McClellan, Missouri, Tim Keenan, Alabama, DeMonte Capehart, Clemson, Albert Regis, Texas A&M, Zane Durant, Penn State, Cole Brevard out of Texas, and at that point we're kind of going a little bit
I
further
honestly
away.
don't really love any of these guys. I don't really love any of them. Xavier Harris is an interesting player, has had some off-the-field issues in his past that I kind of just don't really feel comfortable taking him in this spot. Man, he's an interesting player. He's 6'8". Imagine if you walk out with a 6'6" defensive tackle and a 6'8" defensive tackle. Let's just take a look at the top players available again, if we could.
Yeah, so you got Jayshon Barnum, edge out of Michigan, Zakie Wheatley, safety, Penn State, Michael Trigg, tight end, Baylor. We talked about Corleone, Demetrius Crownover, Texas A&M, offensive tackle, Anthony Lucas, edge USC, Deontay Lawson, linebacker, Alabama, DeJon Stribling, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. You got Carson Beck, the quarterback from Miami, Will Lee. We've talked about Billy Schrout, the guard out of Notre Dame, Brandon Thompson, wide receiver, Mississippi State, Bud Clark, safety, TCU. C.J. Daniels, wide receiver, Miami. We talked about Harris. Mikhail Kamara, edge at Indiana. Cage Casey.
Let's take Chris McClellan here. I like him. I like McClellan. I think he's I didn't see orange available, was he?
I don't think so. I think he was ranked higher.
Yeah. Let's go with McClellan. I think he's a well-rounded defensive lineman, give you some boost as a pass rusher as well as a run defender as well. So you double down on the defensive tackle position in this class, and you walk out with Sonny Styles and Francis Malinoa. This is a defensive draft. We'll also plug in a need at that right guard spot.
Yeah, PFF is a fan of this draft. They give it an A-. What do you guys give this draft? Grade it A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know in the comments section.
Yeah, and let me know, which draft did you prefer? I think we did 3. First, second, or third. Let me know in the comment section. And make sure you are following me over on social media. I don't really think any of these were the perfect draft for the New York Giants the way that the board fell, but I think all of them were drafts that I would be happy with. Exciting times, man. Exciting times. Only a couple more days until Thursday till we get things rolling. Until then, hit that sub button, and let's go Giants. All right, let's roll through some super chats here. can't pay big money on defense. It's an offensive league. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that you can. I think that you can. I would have been okay if the Giants paid Dexter Lawrence. I would have been okay with that.
Devin Davis.
What's up, man? Marshall, we still have post-traumatic Saquon disorder, but if it happens, it happens, in my opinion. Yeah, I
think this came in. We were talking about the whole Jeremiah Love conversation and why people are not a fan of that pick.
Giants won a playoff game with Saquon Barkley, right?
Yeah.
First one since the Super Bowl, right?
Listen, if Joe Shane gives him one more million, is anyone complaining about Saquon pick?
It's not Saquon Barkley's fault that the Giants didn't draft well and build the roster well after that. I don't know. I'm just over it. I'm over it. You guys are telling me if Bijan Robinson was in this class, you wouldn't take him number 5 overall to help out your young quarterback? That's a little crazy. EPL, what's up, man? This says, let's change my screen name, but my team. What an advantage to have 2 picks in the top 10 with Harbaugh as our puppet master. Edward Lynch, you the man, brother.
Real one.
You the man. G-Man, what's up? Are we back? We'll see. Got to hit these picks. Seth Gross, if supposedly this is a weak draft class as far as talent, what are the real expectations after the first, 20 picks? What kind of talent are you hoping for from the later rounds? No. Unless you want to cut 2 copies for the mock draft and top 10 draft club people. I can handle it. We can handle it. We got it. Did you? We offered Billy that trade, and he said there's no way the Bengals would do that. It's only like he covers that team. Yes. I don't know. I'm going to actually see exactly what he said.
He was like, we need 10. Need to hold on to 10.
Need 10. Says you're trade happy, dude.
What a great move.
Love how they're all in.
Billy just
maximized your time with Joe Burrow.
I don't think he was going live for the draft either, but he just got terrible news. I'll just eat when I'm done.
Yeah. We're about to sign off here momentarily.
For the burrito? You ever seen that guy who tries to eat without spilling? He tries to eat the entire or it's a bowl too without spilling a single grain of rice. No chance for me, but I mean, like, can I do it or do I want to do that? If I was trying,
4.5 and you had the under. You getting it?
I think I could do it. I think I could do it in 4. Yeah.
Who won the game?
Dude, we heard you popping
Wow.
off for those Luke Kennard. I could hear you with those Luke Kennard threes.
In the series.
Dude, they were showing him pregame. He tweaked his knee, and then he went back to the locker room and hands above his head.
When did he get hurt? In pregame?
Yeah, no. They practice on Wednesday. Going through a loose ball, he bumped his knees. No, but did you see the pregame? No, yeah, he was warming up pregame, but that's not where he got hit. But
Oh, like he got work. Like he tried to test it out and give it a go, and it was just no good.
Wild.
That's crazy.
What kind of talent are you hoping for from the later rounds? Look, even if... What? This is from this stupid-ass carpet. Why is this here? Look, even in a weak class, there's still going to be productive players later in it. It's on the job of Joe Shane, Don Aponte, and the Giants to go and find those players.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just saw in a lot of those scenarios we just did, like there is a cluster of defensive tackles who are kind of expected to go around that early part of the second round. So in terms of outside the top 20, as far as right now, the Giants' biggest pick right there would be at 37. And with the lack of defensive tackle talent in the top 10, 20 picks, and the cluster right there, I think like we've talked about it kind of ad nauseum that it makes sense to get potential nose tackle with one of those picks. And at that point, then the Giants' next pick at this moment is 105, and at that point, you're kind of just like each team values players differently once you get into the hundreds and later on. So
Yeah, it's just on the. There's always talent, and this one not as much, but it's on the Giants to find it. Seth Gross, hope you had a good night, my brother. Ronald, what's up, man? Appreciate the love, bro. Thank you. Tyler, I feel like I prefer either Styles, Downs, Love at 5, and Vanga. Yeah, that would be. You're singing my song. You're singing my song there.
that's
All
it.
right, let's roll through just like the top 10 players we're looking at.
Cool.
You can just start with like full screen L3 or something like that. I worry about Downs, ACL, no. That's kind of been debunked at this point. The guy who even reported it took it down. The Bengals are getting killed online.
Doesn't shock me. I think it all kind of just depends on, like, it's like when you draft a guy and you're not going to know what's going to happen until years down the road, what players the Giants end up getting.
Z Nightmares, you can watch Tyler Smith on YouTube every single day covering the Buffalo Bills, covering the Golden State Warriors, covering the Carolina Panthers, and covering the Boston Celtics. So if you want more Smitty in your life, you can go be a Boston Celtics fan, a Golden State Warriors fan, a Carolina Panthers fan, or a
I think
what other channel does he cover?
He's got 4: Panthers, Bills, Celtics, Warriors.
There you go.
Did you probably want to change the title on this bad boy, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah, I think just top 10 picks. Top
Giants targets.
Giants draft targets. Only thing is it might change once you do each reveal.
Well, I just changed it for, like, I just changed all the rows.
Oh, yeah.
I just got to change it for that second group.
Stop it 6847 says this dude made his channel in 2 months. Totally awesome guy. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. This hasn't been 2 months. This has been since June of 2021. So, not quite 2 months. No, not yet. Not yet. All right, let's do it. Nope, just Knicks and Giants. The New York Giants now own the number 5 and the number 10 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. And on today's show, I'm going to go over my top 10 players. And the Giants should be picking 2 players from this list. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and we are presented by Prize Picks. We'll tell you more about them later on in today's show. This is essentially like a mix-up of my big board, kind of just with players that I want the Giants to take. And if you've been watching this channel over the past couple of weeks, I have made it clear that Jeremiah Love is, in my opinion, the best player in the draft, and he is the player that I want the most for the Giants to pick at number 5. There are a bunch of reasons for this pick, but I come back to this. He's the best player in the class. He helps the New York Giants immediately. I think he has maybe the most immediate punch of any player in this class. But, the real reason is I want someone that's going to make Jackson Dart better. I want to invest in Jackson Dart. And Dart having a tailback behind him that averaged 6.9 yards per carry over the last 28 games that they played, where they tallied 35 touchdowns, I think would help Jackson Dart. Because if Jackson Dart is no good in year 2, you have a problem. And I can understand the other side of that coin saying, Marshall, well, if Jackson Dart's no good, Jeremiah Love's not going to help him. I want to make sure that Jackson Dart is set up for the most success possible this year. And I think Jeremiah Love is a player that could help him with that. And I'm not sure the Giants will ever be in a spot, fingers crossed, in the Jackson Dart era to select an offensive playmaker like Jeremiah Love again. And if they are, that would be a doomsday scenario. I've officially made another change to my big board, and I have Caleb Downs, number 2. There. I once had Sonny Styles 1. I once had Sonny Styles 2. Now I have Caleb Downs, number 2. And just like we talked about with Jeremiah Love, I think he's the best offensive player in the class. I think Caleb Downs is the best player in the class on the defensive side of the ball. Like, if there are any 2 players in this class that I had to put a lot of money on to be successful, it's Downs and it is Jeremiah Love. And I think there's a world where you can get Downs at number 10 and Jeremiah Love at number 5. I know people are like, but Marshall, it's a safety and a halfback. Throw out positional value. Look at damn good football players, and those 2 are the best in this class. And I'm hoping there's a world where maybe both or one are New York Giants. I still do have Sonny Styles as number 3. I guess the reason that I've had him fall a little bit is, one, there's been a lot of busts at the linebacker spot in the NFL draft recently. It's a hard position to kind of evaluate and see what the translation is going to be and the transition is into the National Football League. I also worry about his play strength to a point. I think sometimes he's more of a get you on the ground tackler instead of a put you on the ground tackler. And I know he only missed 1 tackle last year. He doesn't miss tackles, but he will sometimes give up more yardage because he is tackling high, and he's more so of just like a swarmer, a wrap-up and spin guy instead of put my face mask in your chest and blow you back. I think he's still going to be a damn good player, but he comes in at number 3 on my big board at this point. Number 4 on my big board for the Giants is Francis Mauigoa, the offensive tackle out of Miami. Is there a world where you could get Jeremiah Love at 5 and Mauigoa at 10? I also love that Mauigoa is someone that would be an investment to Jackson Dart. You're investing in Jackson Dart by selecting Mauigoa. I think he is the best offensive lineman in this class, and he's got the versatility to play that tackle position and that inside guard position. I think he could play guard early on in his NFL career, and then maybe when the Giants move on from Jermaine Illuminor, they could bounce him out to right tackle. So my top 4, Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, and Francis Mauigoa. We'll get to the rest of the list, this list coming up momentarily. First, though, I got to tell you about our presenting sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. Playoff basketball is here, and there is no better time to play Prize Picks than right now. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick. It's super easy. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply pick more or you pick less on the stats that Prize Picks sets for each individual player. And when you download the app and use the promo code HMA, after you play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 in lineups instantly. I cashed in on my game 1 Knicks-Hawks lineup because I took the more on Jalen Johnson points, more on Josh Hart rebounds, and more made threes for OG and Anunoby. I turned $25 into $67 You can roll with my picks or fade my picks and easily follow them by going to the social feed feature and typing in @MarshallGreen_ and giving me a follow. Download the app, create an account, use the promo code HMA. It's promo code HMA. Play your first $5 lineup and get $50 instantly. All that information is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. Number 5 on my big board is Mansour Delane. I'm a big fan of the boundary corner from LSU. He only gave up like 7 catches this year. I think he allowed 0 touchdowns, and he did not allow any receiver to have multiple catches in any single game, where it was like he allowed 13 catches this year and only 7 of them were first downs. This dude was absolutely insane in coverage. When covering receivers and he was targeted, only 37% of the passes were caught. And when quarterbacks targeted him, they had a QB rating of 26.7, 13 PBUs, 2 INTs. I think this is the guy that could start day one at outside corner for you, and it would bring much needed talent to the positional room. I got Venga Yawane, the interior offensive lineman out of Penn State, and I thought about maybe putting him at 5. And honestly, Delane and Venga Yawane are neck and neck for me. The only reason I put Delane in front of him is because of the positional value, but I think there is still a world where I would prefer Venga Yawane to be the pick at number 10 over Mansour Delane, especially if you go and select Jeremiah Love at number 5. If you take Love at 5, I love the idea of backdooring that with another player that's an investment to your quarterback, and then it would be an investment in your number 5 pick in Venga Yawane. I think he's the best pass-blocking player in this class, and he also plays with a nastiness in the run game where if he gets his hands on you inside your chest plate, you're done. You're not making a play. He's putting you on the ground. Venga Yawane would be a dream pick for me and the New York Giants at number 10. I got Jordan Tyson coming in right there. I'm pretty much settled on him being my wide receiver 1 in this class. I think Carnell Tate might be a little bit more of a safer prospect, but the ceiling for Tyson is a lot higher. And if he just stays healthy, which is a big if, I think he's going to be the best receiver in this class. The pop is there. I want to see a little bit more after the catch. You just didn't really see a lot of that on film this year, but I like Jordan Tyson a lot, and we know that Joe Shane flew out to his private workout on Friday, and he actually had dinner with Jordan Tyson on Thursday, and I think he's absolutely in play to be a Giant at number 10. I got Carnell Tate right behind him. I have Tate just behind Tyson. I think Tate is a very safe prospect. I just wonder what his upside is in the National Football League. Not extremely fast, not physical. He is a good route runner, and he consistently finds himself behind the defense. His best skill is his hands, which I don't want to underrate that as a receiver. That's extremely important. His contested catch ability is the best in this class. Tate's a good player, man. I think he did, benefit from playing opposite of Jeremiah Smith last year, but he'll also be playing alongside Malik Neighbors in the National Football League if he is a New York Giant. So keep your eyes on Carnell Tate with the Giants at maybe the number 10 overall selection. I've got Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle out of Utah. I see him more as a guard in the NFL, and I think you could pick him at number 10, and he could be your day one starter at that right guard spot. A little bit more of finesse of a player than you see in Venga Yawane. I think that's kind of shown there in the weight that he carries at 6'6", 300 pounds. There are people in the NFL that he also think that he could play the center position as well. But Fano was really good last year for Utah, did not allow a single sack. I think he's a little bit better as a pass blocker than he is a run blocker. Still a good run blocker, and overall a pick like him at 10 is once again an investment in Jackson Dart, and I'm totally cool with that. I don't love saying this because I don't even necessarily believe it. Ruben Bain comes in at number 10 on my big board. This is like a luxury pick for the Giants. I think Ruben Bain might be like the 3rd best player in this class, but he plays a position right now that the New York Giants actually have like an abundance of riches at, with Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau. Now, Kayvon may not be here long term, but is there a world where Ruben Bain could be that 3-4 end, and then on the outside of him, you have Brian Burns or Abdul Carter, and you just turn the superpower of your team into an unstoppable force as well. Like if Ruben Bain is the pick at 10, and then you find a way to trade Kayvon Thibodeau for a third-round pick, then you could be cooking with some gas. I just think that Ruben Bain's talent is too good to pass up. So this is kind of a rough sketch of what my big board looks like. I also love Jermod McCoy. The injury worries are something that I would need a little bit more clarity on. I think the Giants and the NFL will have the information on that. It's just hard for me to kind of give a take on that since I don't have it. Look, I think Arvell Reese would be on this list as well. I don't anticipate him being there at 5. Same with David Bailey. I like Mekhi Lemon as well. I might like Mekhi Lemon more than Tate. I go back and forth. But overall, those are like a rough list of 10 that I am looking at. And hopefully the New York Giants take 2 of those 10 players. You have newfound wealth going into the NFL draft, which we are like just a couple of days away from. And the fastest way to put this team on the fast track of a rebuild is by nailing pick 5 and nailing pick 10. And hopefully John Harbaugh can find out who those players are and make them New York Football Giants. Appreciate everybody for clicking on today's show. If you haven't yet, give me a follow on social media. You can find me there at @MarshallGreen_ and smack that thumbs up icon on your way out. Tyler, I feel like I prefer, just singing my song. Edwin, what's up, Brody? As much as I want Styles at 5, if we get down, Styles trades up for him and Love going 4. Would you trade out of 10 for a first and second? Downs, Rodriguez. I want Styles at 5. We get downs. Dallas trades up for him. Love going 4. So Dallas trades up to 3.
I just don't know if all this can happen in the same scenario. Like, so you're saying that Dallas trades up to 3 and Love goes 4th.
So Styles goes 3. Love goes 4th. Would you trade out of 10? In that position, I would take Downs at 5. Then you get to 10. I would need to know who's on the board. Like if Maui Noah's there at 10, that's going to be hard to trade out of. If Venga Ioane is there at 10, which I think he is, that's going to be hard for me to pass up personally. So that's just kind of where I'm at there. Is the last one?
I believe so. Yeah. Oh, we got Billy Beebe in the chat.
BB's here, says Dem Boys. What's up,
Can
Billy?
you believe this guy called me Drewshbag to the chat? Unbelievable. I was here supporting him this morning during his Ohio State Spring Day stream, lighting up the comment section, telling people to like the video.
Isn't that his job?
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, producing was top-notch. AP was killing it. Billy.
Did Billy even know the players on the field?
He had number. He said, bear with us. We were trying to figure out what number everyone is.
Isn't this his job?
I don't know. I mean, it's almost like you should know whether or not your team's willing to trade the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence, but we'll see. He's probably not even.
Need that pick.
Need that pick. Yeah, need it. Can't give it up. Well,
there's no way that the Bengals, who have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, should be trying to win now. They should be trying to build for the future and make that 10th pick, right?
Exactly. You know what? I think he tanked his mock draft just for content purposes because I saw in the shorts request room that there was a short about number 10 overall pick waiting to be made. So I think that's why he couldn't make the trade with us for the 10th overall pick is because he had a lot of content plans for it.
Because it was a terrible mock draft at 10.
Who did he take? He took Delane.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. But there was an anonymous rankings of best draft class to worst, and
Anonymous.
yeah.
Was this like a Nintendo Mike thing, or was
No,
like,
Chat Sports employees voted on it.
Gotcha.
And the 32nd and 31st worst mock drafts on Chat Sports Day
Bengals
were
and
the
Colts.
Bengals and the Colts. Yeah, it was insane. KP! What's up, Brody? Bro, imagine Styles and Downs I'm getting hot. No, like if you have Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs, you would expect championships, right?
We should maybe do like a duo video, like what your top 2 potential pairings would be.
I mean, if there was like a college football team that had Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles and Caden McDonald and Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, there's no way that team could lose.
They would probably win the national championship.
They would probably win the national championship, right, Billy? Right, Billy? Instead, they lose to Fernando Mendoza. No, they lost to Carson Beck.
Yeah.
You didn't even get to play Mendoza. I mean, in theory, like, no way it could actually happen where you have a college defense with all those guys. You'd probably be the best in college football, right? Not get lit up by Carson Beck.
You'd probably never lose ever.
Yeah. No, I agree. And we'll say this. It's given us content for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right. We've been live for 2.5 hours after we were live for 4 hours on the Knicks stream. It's been a long day. We're pooped. We're going to sign off. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Dexter Lawrence, you are a Cincinnati Bengal, and the Giants now have the 5th and the 10th pick in the draft. Everybody type FBB in the chat on your way out. Until next time, let's go Giants.